Welcome to episode 17 of the Elder Trolls Gaming Podcast. I am Kami Caboose, and I'm here to do the drunken intro. The boys today have special guests from the Friday Night Gamecast. I can't talk while I'm drunk. We are going to be joining today an influential
It's Friday Night Gamecast.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
Hello and welcome to the Elder Trolls Gaming Podcast. We have episode 17 today for you guys. I'm Nasty Nate. We got Take It Easy Jono, and we got Dandolph the Wise. And we have some special guests today. I've been listening to these guys since their first episode, and I gotta say, what keeps me coming back for every one of their episodes is their unbridled passion and appreciation for video games, their discussion subjects. We got Nick's attention to detail, and of course, Will's sexy radio voice.
He's got
From the Friday Night
voice.
Gamecast, we got Will and Nick. How you guys doing today?
Oh, we're doing great. Thank you for having us on. I definitely appreciate it. Great intro for us.
Oh man, that was a fantastic intro. Thanks so much. We're a huge fan of the Elder Trolls podcast, and we couldn't be happier to be on today. So thanks again so much for having us.
Thanks, guys.
We're happy to have you guys, for sure.
No problem. It's a hot one out today. I was thinking this. We got hot day out, and we got some hot guests. We got some hot guests.
Yes, everybody's hot today. That's what we're talking about. Just a bunch of cuties in the chat. I love it.
Okay, well, to start things off, I think we were going to do a little icebreaker game here, guys. Maybe he didn't tell you about this little surprise game. So I'm going to share my screen here, okay? I'm going to share my screen in Skype.
Awesome.
And I hope so. I did a little. What I did was a very quick drawing of a video game character, and everyone has to guess. So Daniel and Nate have not seen this yet, so they'll have to guess as well.
Okay, perfect.
You guys are gonna get it pretty quick. It's only like 30 seconds long or a minute long, less than that. You'll get it though. You'll get it probably just from the pose. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. I'm pressing play. Okay, ready.
Okay.
You might get it
Here we go.
just from the pose.
It's not Samus, is it?
Yeah, it's pretty well known. You'll get it like in 2 seconds.
Okay, it's coming in.
Oh, yeah, that's true, eh?
Oh, so it's Cloud.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Who got it first? It was Nick? I think it was Nick.
I think it was Nick. I think I heard Nick, yeah.
As soon as I saw that Buster
Cloud
sword, I was
Yeah,
like,
the
that's
Buster
our
sword, of
boy.
course.
Like, wait a
That's
minute.
our pretty boy.
Iconic.
Nice.
It's just a very
Iconic
shitty
Play it through. Let it go
sketch.
through.
I'm letting it. It's going.
Oh, mine's frozen.
Mine stopped.
Yeah, mine stopped too, but from what I see so far, though, great sketch.
Yeah,
Excellent job.
yeah. Had no idea you were so artistically inclined, Jonathan.
Yeah. Well, I
That
did.
that is his.
That's
his
kind of my
talent.
thing. It was actually when COVID started. I think it was when COVID started. Started like drawing because I used to do it when
Really?
I was a kid, and I was accepted to college for animation, but it was like super last minute, and I couldn't go. So like I would have had to move cities within like a week or something. They literally told me 2 weeks before the course started because maybe someone dropped out or something, and then I got in. I don't know. I was the last one in, I guess, but yeah, I couldn't do it. So, but
Yeah.
I picked it up kind of during COVID, and I was like traditionally training myself,
Okay.
like self-taught kind of through YouTube and books and everything like that. Read a lot of comics, just looking at comics, and I love that shit. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been doing that.
I was looking good. Only thing I picked up during COVID was like another 20 pounds. So it's great. It's very nice.
Yeah, I think I made I made some bread once, and it was terrible. It wasn't good at all.
Hey, man,
Making
but at least
bread?
you guys tried, right?
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
thing,
we
is
did
so
something.
many
Did
people.
something.
Exactly. So many people
I made
started
some
picking
bread.
up shit tons of stuff.
I gamed more
Including video
now than I did my entire fucking life.
That's true. That's true.
That
Yeah,
is
we
true.
definitely did game a whole lot more.
Yeah, I put 2,000 hours, I think, into Apex Legends over COVID.
You didn't.
buddy,
2,000
buddy.
hours. Are you like platinum rank or something like that? Diamond tier?
Yeah, I got to Diamond three seasons or something like that. And this season, I kind of didn't really play ranked, but I got to Platinum. I think last night I got to platinum in a pretty epic game. Last night,
Okay.
for the last game too. I was like, guys, this is my last game. I gotta go to bed. I got shit to do in the morning.
That's how it always turns out.
And then we put down.
And
That's
then
when
you're
you
like, you
pop
got that
off.
adrenaline rush from that last game, and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
5 more. It's 2 a.m.
No, I was like,
Yeah,
no, I
okay.
gotta go to bed. But then I was jacked up because it was like a really
then you
intense
can't sleep,
like,
yeah.
and I couldn't
Yeah.
fucking sleep. I couldn't sleep last
Okay.
night. So I'm very tired. That's why I have this sugar-free Red Bull here.
Perfect.
Oh.
Perfect. Yeah, I've been-
Sponsor us,
yeah,
please.
Exactly. Where's our money at Red Bull?
Our unofficial sponsors.
Yeah, unofficial sponsor, Apex Legends and Red Bull. But yeah, okay. We got usually we get 3 questions. Is it 3 questions we give? Yeah, we give 3 questions
Yeah.
for our
This
guests
is
when
gonna-
we're on. We got what is your earliest gaming memory? Top 3 game, and what your platform of choice is. So, Will?
All right, let's see. I'm gonna go ahead. So my earliest gaming memory, it's I'm a Nintendo baby. I started off on the Super NES, so some of my earliest ones have to be from playing Super Punch Out.
Oh,
And super young, so I had a great time, going through Glass Joe, maybe like the first 3 or 4 fighters, and then you always get to like Hurricane Mike or the guy who jumps off the ropes. And I have to do the classic sibling gamer move where I'm like, big brother, please beat this character.
That's a hard game.
He's
man.
cheating. We're supposed to be boxing, and he's kicking me in the face. What's happening?
That's funny.
But no, it was very tough for a child. But I definitely enjoyed it, and it was good getting a little bit of bonding. My brother, he's like 15 years older than me, so
Okay.
since we didn't have a whole lot in common, gaming was a pretty big thing in our lives for a while there. So that's some of my earliest gaming memories.
Interesting.
Sweet.
Sweet.
How about
Nice.
you, Nick?
Yeah, so it's a little bit fuzzy. I know that I played around with the NES, but I was so young that I wasn't able to actually enjoy it and like understand it when I first had it. So the first real gaming system that I had would have been the N64, and so I would say like some of my earliest memories on there were, of course, you got your Super Smash Bros, the original one, and then obviously, I remember very, very early on, I might have been like 6 or 7, and walking to a friend's house and seeing them play F-Zero. And I had never seen anything like that in my life. And I was just like, I was mesmerized. It was like a house party. Everybody was like over there, but I just like stood there in the living room just staring at the TV. And I was like, this is crazy. And so I, of course, after that, like, but harassed my parents like over and over until they finally caved and got me an N64. And that, and like the Game Boy Color, I remember very specifically having an issue where I played Pokemon Blue. That was like my very first Game Boy Color game. Incredible, classic. And I remember like getting to the point where I was like, I'm playing, and then getting the prompt where it's like I wanted to save my game so I could restart, because I didn't know anything about that back then, but I didn't understand what it meant by overwrite. Do you want to overwrite the save file? And I was like, no, I don't want to overwrite the save file. And I took it to my dad. He's like, I don't know. And so I was like, it was fine. It was like just a repeated
Takes the
series
whole
of
thing
like
apart.
that.
He's like, I don't know, man.
Yeah. Finally just getting the courage to just press yes. And then finally, oh, that's how it works. So
Okay.
Wow,
Yeah,
sweet.
That's scary.
Oh,
At least,
but you
at
had
least
that
it wasn't your
intuition, though.
brother.
Right.
At least it wasn't your
Yeah.
brother, Nathaniel, overwriting your 72 hours of Final Fantasy VII.
That's a
man,
foul.
you just stole some life from your brother, Nathaniel.
Yeah, some bad blood right there.
Nate,
Could've
my
been
guy. Did you do? Now, was it spiteful or was it
No.
an accident?
Because what was happening was I watched him play the game, right? Okay. I was watching him the whole time he was playing, and I was like, I could play this game. I could play this game too. So I went to start my own file or whatever, and I'm just a fucking idiot and
Okay.
overwrote his fucking file.
We only have one memory.
And then I
card.
remember, and then I saw after I did it. Maybe I thought I had selected the second slot, but I didn't. And after I had done it, I could see, you know how it shows like the 3 characters, and then
Yeah.
the time and
The
all
level.
that. It just goes to one character. Cloud. You're like,
He's like, fuck.
Yeah.
I think I made a mistake. To be fair, though, 72 hours, at least he was only like, what, halfway through, a third of the way through, so it's not too bad.
No, I probably had finished it already. I was just fucking around with like chocobos and stuff like that, like breeding
Okay,
chocobos,
okay.
and because I was big into doing that with the
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
collecting
I
all the
remember that.
collecting all the summoning materials and all that kind of thing. That's what I would have been doing.
I just remember the music.
But I probably just started it right over again and kept playing and kept
Yeah.
playing a new file.
we
'Cause it's
were
like my favorite
huge
game of
into
all
that.
time.
Yeah.
Speaking of top 3 games, Will, go.
All right, so top three. Oh, that it's always a super tough one.
Yeah.
So for my top three, it's hard to do across all time. So I'm gonna try to do like an old school, mid school, and then modern.
Cool.
So my old school's probably going to be Super Mario World. That's the one I remember just playing hours. And honestly, I was so bad of it. I'm pretty sure I just played the first level over and over and over again. But that first level is just godlike. As soon as I start playing, is like you immediately get into Yoshi. So I'm like, oh, they're giving you the good stuff off the bat. And then you start getting attacked by football players.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I remember football players in Mario.
Oh man, I forgot about that.
Wow.
But it was fun though. So I remember playing that as like one of my favorite old school platforming games. You just hop on that. I treat that like I treat Ninja Turtles now, where I could just hop in there, play it for 2 hours, and then get off and do something else.
Yeah.
My mid modern has to go to Halo 2 because I'm pretty sure that's the game that raised me from a boy to a man. Like I played an ungodly amount of hours.
Raised by the chief.
Honestly. Especially too because online, that's when online really took off for me. I don't know if it
Yeah.
just took off for everybody around that time too or what.
That
but
makes sense.
yeah, just getting in with the clans, hanging out with people. I would literally go to school, daydream about Halo because it's public school, whatever. Then you go home, you play Halo for like 5 hours until it's dark, and then I go to sleep and wake up and just repeat that
Over and over
just
again.
over and over again.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
it was a blast. Still got people that I talked to today from playing Halo 2, so I really love that game.
Oh, nice.
And then my modern classic, so tough, but I think I got to give it to God of War, the 2018 God of War.
Okay.
That game, like it was the thing where a couple of games in this modern times with me not having as much time to play, I will start a game, say this is very fun, and then not touch it for months.
Yeah.
But this turned into one of those where I did that and I came back to it and then I just blitzed through the rest of the game. I'm pretty sure it only played like a third of the way through. And then when I came back, I literally just 100% fully platinumed it, crushed it out. And I probably my favorite game of the last gen completely. So yeah, I just really love that game.
Is that the one, Nathaniel, that you played?
Yes, and I keep telling you guys to fucking play it. And
You haven't
don't wanna
played
play
God of
it.
War 2018?
It's on my
Oh,
backlog.
you gotta play it.
You gotta bump that up. It's not even that long.
I got a lot of games that you told me to play.
Yeah, that's true.
Nick, how
Gamers
about you?
fatigue.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just echo that very last one with Will. We've actually, it's funny, we've answered this question relatively frequently because we have been on some shows. But I will say that God of War 2018 is hands down probably sitting at my current number one spot for like the greatest game of all time, or in my book. Just because like the way that, first of all, the story that they tell, it's evocative, it's powerful. And then second of all, just the way that they seamlessly blend like Norse mythology with the gameplay mechanics. And on top of that, like taking what was already like not a bad system from the old school PlayStation, 2, 3 God of War games, and then just completely just detaching it from that. It shows like deference to the old games, but it also brings us forward into the future. And it's like, not only do you have like one of the hardest boss fights in gaming with the Valkyrie Queen, but then like you have like just the relationship between Kratos and Atreus, and on top of that, just the powerful feeling that you get. It's total like it hits all of the points of like a power fantasy styled game, but it's like it tells this very deep emotional story. So it hits that on all fronts. It runs on all gears. So yeah, 100% my favorite game of all time. I would say like the number 2 and 3 spots will always fluctuate for me. But what I will probably go to is that like my next would be Mass Effect 2 as telling like
Nice.
one of my favorite stories in gaming of all time. Not to mention that like I love Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 1 tells an incredibly good story, but then Mass Effect 2 continues that same like depth of like narrative fantasy and like sci-fi fantasy, but it also like it's doing like fan service in the best way, how Marvel does like the fan service for all your favorite characters, but in a way that's like actually it subverts expectations in the best way. So I really love that.
Incredible game.
Yeah, Mass
great
Effect
game.
is a good one. And then I would say that I struggle with this one, but I would have to go with like Elder Scrolls V Skyrim as being like number 3 on the list, as just because of how many hours I put in that game and how deep that lore is and how much time I sunk into it. I mean, it's like objectively not like the greatest game ever, but it's probably one of my favorites just because of being able to like live, and we'll talk about this later, but being able to like breathe in Tamriel and kind of see what it's like in Skyrim and to like live through those stories and all the different options that they give you to like pursue the route. And not only that, but the mod community has created their own stories like that are in the game that are on the level of like what Bethesda has told. So it's like it's a great game.
Yeah, that's
Nice.
sweet. Yep. That is.
Makes total sense to me.
I think that might come back up later in the episode here, maybe. But
yeah.
that's pretty,
Oh, yeah.
pretty good. Pretty good list, guys.
Nice work, boys. Good answers.
I haven't played Mass Effect yet.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna play it next.
Cool.
I think after Octopath.
check out Mass
is
Effect
done,
for sure.
I'm gonna play the legendary
See,
edition.
it doesn't matter. There's always a
There's
game.
always a
yes,
game.
do that.
There's always
There's
a
always
game.
a game
There's
we
always a game.
haven't played. And, one of us is going to be like, you haven't played that. And the other one's like, well, you haven't played this. So it's like, it's never
Exactly.
ends.
Will, that's literally our entire show content. It's just Will being aggressive with how many games that I haven't played that he's adding to my backlog. He adds to the pile. He's like, you haven't played
man,
that? Oh, we're throwing
You
it
just
on the
beat
backlog.
Bioshock. You just beat Bioshock.
that's right.
You said you haven't beat
Congratulations.
Bayonetta, right?
No, I played Bayonetta. I haven't beat
Okay,
Bayonetta.
okay.
Mhm.
You haven't beaten Bayonetta.
Well,
you have to
that's-
start RE4.
Oh my god.
Holy
that-
shit.
Saying that
That
though,
rolls
saying
us
that
in
you
then.
guys have a lot of. That's what I have written down here. You guys have a lot of like XP. You got XP in games. Like, listen to your episodes. Just the amount of different games you've played is certainly impressive. I found myself thinking like, man, where have I been? What the fuck have I been doing? What games am I playing? And then I'm like, oh right. I played WoW for like 4,000 hours and Apex for
Yeah.
3,000 hours and Hearthstone for probably another few thousand hours over 10 years. Like, so I haven't really like I've played games. Obviously, I've played other single player games, but I don't like do completionists or any of that shit either. I roll credits and I'm like, whew, all right, that was good. And I just move on. But like I do have those games where like I'm dumping my time into. So I'm wondering, do you guys have you put 1,000 hours in any game? Do you have 1,000 hours?
Oh God, I sure hope not. Honestly, like you mentioned WoW, and I feel like I had like a little flashback because I was like, oh yeah, I did play WoW for like 3 summers in a row. Just literal wake up because I would go to my dad's for the summers, and he would work during the day, so I'm left to my own devices, which is a computer and World of Warcraft. So I'll literally wake up, make myself breakfast, get on WoW, do the grinding, do the dailies, do all the fun stuff, yada, yada, yada. Dad comes home, we have dinner together. He's tired, so he's going to turn in early. And I'm like, cool, more WoW.
Raid. We got raid.
Yep, we got a raid.
The good
Gotta
old
get on,
days.
gotta keep on grinding, gotta keep on getting XP up, the allegiances, or God, what are they called when like the different
The factions.
factions, and you have to you have to raise up the God, there's
Reputation.
so many hours.
Yeah, man.
The rep is
Rep
horrible.
grinding.
The rep grind was terrible.
God, that's brutal.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I would just
I'm gonna
stay
be
up
honest.
until, like,
I
the sun
don't think
comes
that
up.
I've ever come close to 1,000. I mean, maybe I have, and I'm not aware of it. But 1,000 hours, that's a lot of time. And my thing is that like I always need variety in the games that I play. That's probably why, like you were saying, I've played so many different games. Is because I'm always switching it up. Like sometimes I'll, even to my detriment, like I'll pick up a game and then put it down just because it loses my interest, and I'm onto the newer, shinier one. But I will say, if you take the OG vanilla Destiny and then all the expansions plus Destiny 2, and then for the amount of time that I played like the Destiny 2 online with the people that I played it with, if you can put those together, that might get close to 500 possibly, but I wouldn't be able to know 1,000 hours specifically. But yeah,
I don't even think I have anything close to that either. Like, there's
I
just
don't,
no
I don't
way.
think so. Yeah.
Did you check Sea of Thieves yet? How much?
No,
time
I
you
forgot. I forgot.
Yeah, he's been playing that a
Now
lot.
that you mention it,
Yeah,
Maybe
I
a couple
forgot.
hundred hours, Dan.
I could
you
be, and
probably
that's
have
what
close.
wouldn't surprise me. But there's no fucking way it's close to 500. There's no way. If it is, you know what? I'll be proud of that.
I actually played Destiny 2 for a
Xbox
bunch,
checks
too.
that, don't they? Don't they keep track of that?
I don't know exactly know where it is. I got to go to the menu and find out. I got to explore.
It's in your achievements. Go to your achievements.
In my achievements, all right.
And then go to like gaming, the gaming tab, I think, under achievements, and it tells you.
I will do that.
believe-
I will do that next time I log on. I'll drop you guys a line, Will and Nick. That way you know. That way, if you want to come close to this pirate legend,
there
okay?
you go.
Oh,
there
my
you go. He's like, you haven't touched as much booty as I have in my entire life.
just fingering that booty.
All right. Well,
I mean, the
Okay.
yeah. So I mean, like I said, like 1,000 hours, like that's bare, like minimum. I think I put 1,000 hours into Warzone, like with my buddies. So like, and we stopped playing that ages ago. So yeah. So I have lots of games that I didn't touch, like classic games, like Mass Effect, like BioShock. Like I've never really played them.
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff that was on Xbox that we never played because we were never really Xbox guys. We had like PlayStation, PS2, PS3, like Halo. We never played Halo.
Okay.
Like, I never touched it.
We
Which
totally
I
missed
actually
the
want.
whole.
We were
We
going
wanna
to
do the
do a
co-op.
run through of like all of them. That would be really cool to do. So we'll probably might do that. But I think next, after I'm done Octopath Traveler, I think I'm gonna start the legendary Mass Effect thing that I got from
Oh yeah.
Prime.
Maybe
Gaming.
I'll
I
start
got
it
for
at
free.
the same time as you. That way we can. Nathaniel, you should too. Fuck. I got to replay them.
Hold on. So,
so
yeah, so you guys are gonna play through all of the Mass Effects together.
No, that would be cool.
I'm gonna start it. I don't know if they're gonna do it with me, but I'm gonna start it.
Okay.
Like you're
love
punishing
That would be-
yourself.
that would
You're
be
going
awesome.
from Octopath to all the Mass Effects. I'm like RPG to RPG. I'm like, sir, give yourself a break.
Yeah.
I play a couple of
play
hours.
Hellblade.
Play a couple hours of Apex every night to break it up. You know.
Yeah.
Okay.
The thing about Mass Effect 1 is very quick. It is very quick.
Oh,
It'll
yeah?
take you
Yeah, it's
maximum
not
like
bad.
if you golden path it, it'll take you like 10 15 hours.
Oh, sweet.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I had a question. Now that we're on Mass Effect, I'll keep this short and sweet. I think, Nick, you had mentioned that you had bought Andromeda and had played it, and you said you dubbed that as a mistake. Now, I have not played Mass Effect 3 yet, believe it or not. I played 1 and 2. I love them, and then Mass Effect 3 came out, and I was past that point, and I got busy with other stuff. And obviously, I haven't played Andromeda. Should I play Andromeda?
If you haven't played, you've only played Mass Effect 1 and 2 and you haven't started 3 yet.
Right.
Okay. I would say no.
Okay.
The only thing that Andromeda does that's somewhat cool is that moving the character around. I wouldn't know. I feel like it's much more. It's like if you take a Gears of War character and you put like a booster pack on their back, and you're able to move around the map and like fight people like that. But other than that, they don't do a lot that contributes to the narrative of the story, and it doesn't like. The thing is that it's completely separate because they go to the Andromeda Galaxy, so they're not even the same. Same like same time frame or anything like that, and so it's telling you this entirely new story.
And I won't be crying if I don't play it. I'll be fine with 1, 2, and 3.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to clarify from somebody who's actually played it. Cool.
All right, let's roll into. We'll do this quickly because I know you guys get asked this a lot. What we're currently playing, I know. Will finally finished Guardians. Congratulations, Will.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nick finished BioShock, which is awesome. Congratulations. Quickly, any new ones that you may have picked up over the past couple of days, or
Start playing Stray. I think.
Yeah, I think we're both playing a certain kitty cat game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, playing Stray
I wanna
right
play it.
now.
I
Oh,
haven't
it's so
started it.
good. It's so good. I'm having fun. I played for like 4 hours last night, and so I was
nice.
running through that game.
Yeah, I'm gonna start that. I think I gotta start that too. I gotta start that too.
It was very
Yeah.
fun. I was on
Oh, I
like
got
double
that.
duty last night. I was watching him stream it, and then I was playing it on my TV at the same time. So he was like one chapter behind me. So I'm just like, oh, neat. Okay, cool. He's doing what I was
Cool.
doing.
Oh, yeah, okay.
do you guys?
Immersion. I love that.
What platform are you guys playing that one on?
You doing PS5 too?
I'm doing mine on Steam. Actually, I got mine on Steam.
okay.
I thought that
I'm
it
on
would
PS5.
give me better performance on Steam, but for whatever reason, I'm only getting 60 frames, and I don't know if that's like because I haven't gotten into the settings and messed around with it, but it seems to just be giving me like pretty. It's not. I know it's not going to be like a graphically like. And I knew going into it wasn't going to be an impressive like performance game, but it's like it's still running great. Yeah.
What about HDR though? That seems to me that'll be a nice HDR game. Now, you guys, are you big into that experience? Like we talk about it all the fucking time, like HDR, home theater, TVs. What are you guys doing at home? You got like, I think last episode, your latest episode, Will, you said you have a Sony Bravia. I think I heard Nick say.
Yep.
Is it the OLED? You got a OLED? What do you?
No. I'm not that fancy. I got mine back when I got my PS4, so she's still a little old. She's a little older, but I mean, she definitely gets the job done. I get some nice HD in. I know Nick though. It's always fun coming over to his place to watch. He has like the nice setup. He's got the OLED TV. He's got the lights behind the TV.
Ooh,
what are those? The Philips.
Yeah,
The
I got
Philips
the
hues?
Hue with the Hue sync into it. Yeah, so yeah,
Cool. Yeah, I have that upstairs too. Nice, perfect.
Awesome.
I love that. But that seems like a good game that would be nice on an OLED, like with the HDR and everything. I'm gonna play it downstairs on the PS5 for sure, I think. But yeah, so I think I had one more thing to ask you guys about. It was regarding 2 of your episodes. The one with the animals, the animal episode, and then the emotional damage episode.
Okay.
I was wondering if you'd ever played Rhyme. You remember that game Rhyme? It was on Game Pass. It was like, it's a couple years old, but it looked like a Zelda style. It's like a puzzle game. And it's kind of a short indie. It was like a short indie game. After we Googled that, you'll probably recognize the cover of it.
I
It's
do.
like,
I recognize this, and I remember
do.
this from Game Pass. Did you play this, Will?
Yeah, I played a little bit of it. I didn't beat it at all. I think I played maybe like 15, 20 minutes of it, and it was one of those classics. I was like, oh, this is pretty fun, and then I just stopped. But it was cool from what I played, though. The art style looked very, very nice. That's what really got me to start playing it.
Yeah, that's what I was exactly. And then I kept playing it, and I was like, oh, this is intriguing. And there was this little fox that was like kind of guiding you through the world, and you had to kind of keep following it and like completing puzzles to kind of get to where the fox was, because it was kind of blocked from you. Once you realize what the story is about and what is happening, it was very emotional, very good game. The music was excellent. I remember I told you two about this, and you didn't friggin' play it.
Yes, I know. For fuck's sake.
It was actually one of those. It was one of those surprise games that was so good, and it was just like this random game that I started playing on Game Pass. It was amazing, and the music.
Is it like an
excellent.
exploration puzzle based game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exploration
Got it.
puzzle. There's not really even any fighting. I don't think there's like like evasion. You have to evade some. There's like this big bird that's like flying around the sky, and you had to like strategically move across the map so it wouldn't swoop down and like grab you. That was the only, but like so good. That's what I thought. Like listening to those 2 episodes, I was like, Rhyme. This is what I think of when I was thinking that. But
Yeah.
I would recommend it. It's pretty short too, probably under 10 hours, I would say.
Perfect.
Okay, nice. That was the list.
But there is like exploration. There's like outfits and stuff you can go find if you're into that kind of thing. I wasn't. I just wanted to see what the hell was happening with this fox and the story, and I kept going, and it was really good.
That's really awesome.
Actually, you know what? I'll add that because I have a list that I started, and I'll add that right now, so I don't forget. Because I forgot about that until you just mentioned it.
Right now.
Exactly.
Should we go through what we're playing? Daniel, are you playing anything?
I picked up Trek to Yomi most recently, which is just like actually it's one of those I would say call it a surprise game, you know, just because it's like a short and sweet kind of. I haven't beat it yet, just because I'm playing it really casually, and I know that I can beat it pretty simply.
Yeah.
But I just threw it on. I was like, let's see what this is about. I don't know, and I was very surprised at how much I just kind of wanted to keep running through the areas and the zones and just keep fighting and seeing, you know, to getting to the bottom of what happens, the inciting incident at the beginning. So it's very cool. The camera, I don't know, some people might not be crazy about the camera work because it's very Metal Gear Solid, like on PlayStation 1. It's like there's a fixed camera in a room and you run through that room. And then you see the next room and there's like, it's constantly fixed camera. And the angles, though, are so cool. Because
the
really
framing is
cinematic,
incredible in that game.
Yeah,
I
like
love
you'll
that.
be
That's one
running
of my biggest like pros for that.
Yes, I thought it was very cool, and because it was unique. I've never really seen anything like that. Like if you run through one area, you're in this little village, and then you run to the next frame, and then it's a camera on the ground, kind of looking up over like a field, and you're just a small silhouette running across. It's just really sweet. So I've been playing that and trying to get all the collectibles and stuff, but I think I fucking somehow missed some. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah.
I always go into every crevice I can possibly find. This combat's really cool. A little weird, a little awkward sometimes, because I'm like, I hit that counterattack. I hit that parry.
100%.
and it
100%.
didn't
And the
process.
turning left and right is super fucking weird. I'm just like,
It is. I don't understand
Just
why you
keep
can't just
turning
move your
around.
stick. Yeah.
Yeah.
turning around. I didn't mean
Yeah.
to turn around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so annoying.
It's good though. It's those shortcomings aside, I wouldn't even call those much of a shortcome just because like they're so over. I've overlooked those, no problem. But I'm really enjoying it so far. I love the quick moves of the swords. Like the combos are really sweet, and they keep giving you more as you keep fighting and unlocking new levels and progressing. So that's really cool because I'm like, oh, so I guess this is it for combat. No. As long as you keep fighting different enemies, like you'll come across one enemy that unlocks a certain combo, and then you'll come across a different enemy that you haven't come across before that unlocks another combo. And it's really cool how they did it. So I'm loving Trek to Yomi for sure.
Nice.
That's pretty much it, other than season 7 of Sea of Thieves now just
Thieves.
dropped. That's right.
Will, did you beat Trek to Yomi?
No, I've started it, and I'm gonna be a complete broken record. I'm like, no, this is really cool. I got to chapter 3, and I stopped playing.
Yeah, that's what happened to me. That's what I did.
Yeah,
I would say it is fun though. The biggest mistake that game made for me was giving me the finishing move, like on chapter 2.
so
Because then I'm
cool.
like, okay, cool. I'm gonna stun and finish everybody
Yeah.
for the rest of the game. Like I'm not really fighting anymore. Yeah. It's just once I hit the Y button, it's over.
Yeah. But I still forget. That it's possible. I see them stunned, and I'm like, oh shit, I forgot to use the finisher. I do it every time. So I don't know.
Nathaniel, you play?
Yeah, great game.
Oh, guys, I finally fucking caved and bought a Switch.
Hey, let's go. Nintendo
For a particular
Life.
game. For a particular game, or you were just like, you know what? I got the money.
It's like, I want to play Mario Kart 8.
I want to buy
I
a
love Mario
5-year-old
Kart.
game for $80.
Exactly. That's my biggest fucking piss off, man. I want to play these games that have been out since the release of the Switch, and they're still $80.
$60, please. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, is
But-
it 80
Breath of the Wild.
Canadian dollars?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, got it. Yep.
Yeah.
Makes
So
sense.
like,
Like
what is it?
Breath of the
60
Wild.
American. It's like
Yeah.
$200 Canadian, whatever. it is.
Yeah, like, if you want to play Breath of the Wild, Breath of the Wild is still full price.
Yeah.
It's still
Yeah.
$80.
Wild.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Still worth it.
It's like
Any
how old
first
is
party
that
game, they just
4
don't
years old?
discount it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So I wanted to get it for the new Pokemon that are coming out
Yeah.
in the fall. What is it?
The
Violet.
Transformer ones.
Scarlet and Violet. Mhm.
Yeah, the Transformers. What the fuck?
Violet
To drive around on a
On a motorcycle Pokemon?
on the motorcycle.
so
yeah.
sweet. That's
So
so
they
sick.
look cool
Oh my
though. They look
God.
cool though. One of our friends on Twitter was talking about it, and they were like, "Yo, if I don't pull up to the Pokemon gym doing the Akira move on the
do the
Pokemon
slide.
motorcycle,
Yeah,
I don't
gotta
want
do
it.
it.
I don't
With the
want
trailing,
it."
the tail light trail.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, you gotta have
I think
that.
he's talking about where he like slides it and you
Yeah,
see
where
the
he
camera angle
slides.
pan back. Yeah. Yeah.
But the
it's
tail,
perfect.
but the tail light
that's
like
sweet.
leaves a trail
Yeah,
across
it
the
looks a
screen.
nice little trail when you were running
Yeah.
around. Oh, that's so cool.
That looked
And
real
Akira.
nice in the movie.
Kira is a fucking classic.
Yeah, man.
But I picked up Arceus and Mario Party Superstars.
Nice.
My wife Alma's just crushing Arceus. She's been nonstop playing it.
Really?
Yeah, she's going through that.
So you haven't
Looks-
played
looks
anything
pretty
yet?
good. I played the Superstars and Pokemon Unite on there. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
And I'm just dumping more life into Elden Ring currently.
Nice, nice.
There's just I'm gonna say a few things.
Okay.
For Elden Ring.
I'm at about 55 hours, and I'm nowhere
Jeepers.
freaking close
Okay.
to the end of this fucking game. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm ready for it to be done.
Ready for it to be over.
I'm ready for it to be done.
What was the last boss that you beat, Nate?
I'm on the Omen guy in the castle right now. Margot,
Oh, okay. Got it.
So,
Got it.
the Forgotten Omen, I believe it is. I'm
So
just-
the real Margit, basically.
yeah, I'm like, I just fucking beat this guy, didn't I?
Yeah. Spoiler alert for Elden Ring, I guess.
So now I'm fighting this. I only tried him a few times. I got him.
Yeah.
Like, I think I got it. But the one that gave me the most freaking trouble so far was the moon god chick there, Renala or whatever her name is.
Really? Okay.
I
Yeah.
couldn't get close to her.
Yeah, because of the spells
And then
that
the
she's throwing
summons.
at you.
And then the summons. And then the
She
summons.
sounded like dragons, right? I'm like, ma'am, please.
And I was like, okay, I got to read something online. So I read online. They're like, oh, you can interrupt her, like a chain interrupter so she doesn't summon. I'm like, that's bullshit. So I keep going, and I'm trying to interrupt her, but she breaks the interrupt, or she breaks me and summons because I think they patched her or something. And I just could not.
You.
She interrupted me. Yeah. She put her staff down.
It's because
blows
she's
me
reading
away.
your inputs, man.
Oh, fuck. Don't get me started on
I'm
that.
not playing that game. I am not playing that game. If it's reading my inputs,
Yeah, I totally get that, Jonathan. I think it's probably also one of the most like disheartening things where like FromSoft, they're out there to punish you, right? They're making like the most difficult bosses, and then when people figure out strats to like take advantage of weaknesses of bosses, they're like, oh, we'll just patch that out really quick so they have to try harder and they have to do it right. And I'm just like, what do you want me to be? Level 5,000 to play this?
Exactly.
No. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I think she was the last mainline boss that I beat in Elden Ring, and then I also fought the fireworm. So I played her, and then I fought like that salamander dragon that's like in the caverns up there. And now I legitimately, and then I went to talk to Ronnie, but after that I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. So yeah.
No, because I didn't look up, because for Demon Souls I looked up like a boss order so I could just get it done. This one I went around and I was so underleveled for Nala, completely underleveled, and I'm like, what am I doing here? Smashing my head against this fucking wall for like, I think like 2 days straight. I was just like, and I can do it in my sleep now, but like, holy smokes! And the input lag for the PS5 that I've been experiencing is just so bad. So I bring it down to my gaming monitor. It seems to be better downstairs on my PC gaming monitor. I don't know why. Yeah. Jonathan, I don't know why.
well, a monitor will always be better than a TV for input lag.
Just that extra little bit I need just to dodge. But I've been playing it down here, and I've been getting through bosses. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to beat it down here. I'm not going to bring it back upstairs. Gotcha. But what really gets me going is I was fighting the Mirage, or the Golden Vision of one of the bosses there. The first
Godfrey?
Yeah, Godfrey.
The first Elden Lord?
The first Elden Lord. And what really pissed me off about him is I was like waiting and I was trying to bait his moves, you know? I'm like, okay, he's not going to do anything. I've been waiting 20 seconds. He hasn't moved anything or moved
because he's reading your inputs,
inch.
Man.
Right. And I'm like, go to drink a fucking potion. Go to drink a fucking potion. Smack.
Gotcha.
What the fuck, man? I waited. I go in, I come out. I'm going around. I'm fucking moving around. And I'm like, okay, he's not doing anything. I'm going to try to drink this potion. Nope. Fuck you. And then he shuts.
Classic.
Fuck that game. I am not playing that game. Not happening.
I ended up beating him. Finally. Fucking beat him.
I'm so curious. I think I'll wait for a sale to pick it up, but I'm very curious. All this Elden Ring talk.
It
looks so cool
game,
though. Like the
it's
look
fucking
of the
awesome.
game.
Visually.
Visually.
And you both have
Maybe I'll
played
just
it,
watch
right?
videos
Nick and
of
Will?
No, I have not. Emotionally,
okay,
I
Will,
cannot
you
handle
have not
FromSoft games.
Will's wife played it. Will's wife played on my account and then got
yeah?
me murdered multiple times. I was like, it's okay. I didn't have that many runes anyway. So, but yeah. I honestly, I enjoyed my time. I know there is a way that you're supposed to play that game, but honestly, Nate, I mean, if you want to join up with me and we run through together, I'm on Xbox. No, it's probably not crossplay, is it?
No, I'm on PS5. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Yeah. So, but we have our mutual friend, Shady Ninja, and he's platinumed. He's got the platinum and the 1,000 in Elden Ring. So I'm gonna have to get him to jump in there with me and handle a couple bosses co-op.
My goodness.
For sure. I tried to summon one guy and he was terrible. I was like, I'll just do this myself.
Yeah.
It was me.
Get out of
Dan, not the Dan doll. No.
So Will, you're not a fan. Will is not a fan of the From Software games. Now, it's funny you say that because I would peg myself as the same, and only because I tried an hour of Sekiro and I was like, I can't do this. I can't handle this. I can't.
I think that was
I
a
don't really
know
bad
game for you to join.
Finds this fun.
Yeah, the start.
Who
That's what I
finds this
understand.
fun?
I hear Sekiro is very hard, so that was a rough one to start on.
Yeah, I know, of course. And so, because that game, it was like I would jump in.
Daniel's a sucker for
and I would
Japanese,
spend. It's true. I love that shit. Right? Obviously, Trek to Yomi, Ghost of Tsushima is one of my top 5 games. So
the aesthetics, yeah.
With Sekiro, I went in and I'd play half an hour to get to the first sub boss that wasn't even a boss. It'd take half an hour to get through all the guys, and then I would last 30 seconds during the boss. I'm like, nah, can't. Done. That's it. That's it for me.
And now I got to run back to him? No, thank you.
You have to fight those guys again and spend another half an hour and go back and last another 30 seconds or maybe 50 seconds because I kind of got the hang of what the boss was doing. No thanks. Man.
God.
Like,
All
that
right.
is
So you
classic
finally take 'em
hardcore
down.
gaming, which is cool, and I appreciate that, and I respect that. But I also like to have fun. I like to have a good time. I was not having
Balance.
fun.
All right, Nick, you said you were playing Stray. Anything else you were playing? You finished
Yeah.
Bioshock.
I did finish Bioshock. Incredible game. I'm gonna say, has everybody on the here on the call played Bioshock?
My
No,
friends
I
have been
might have
crazy
played
about it
it.
forever. I just never.
I don't play it
I
on
might have played it back in the day. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
don't
It was one of
remember
those,
that
I
all,
feel
though.
like, definitely in like that 2007 to like 2010 era where everybody
Because it was a Microsoft exclusive, right? It was an Xbox
Initially
thing.
it was, yeah.
It was.
Again, that's why I missed it because I was on
That's
PlayStation
prime.
back then.
That's my prime WoW days. I think
right.
Yeah.
Right.
07, yep.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's okay.
prime WoW days.
Yeah, it's an incredible game. Honestly, like, I love the story, and I mean, I know, Dan, like, we both, I think I resonate with you very much because, like, what makes or break that for you is the narrative. I will say that,
Story.
like, the story is what got me through that game. The gameplay actively kind of held me back, and it's honestly, I do look at it as like I have to look at it as like a historian, right? I look at it as like, this is what they did at that point in time to make first person shooters good, or to innovate like that first person shooter genre. Not only like switching between the guns and then like the weapons that you would use throughout the game. That was innovative. That was really cool. There were times where I had fun doing that, and then there were times where I was like, can I not get like a sidestep? Can I not get a dash? Can I not do something with my character to make them move fast? Especially when you have like these large hulking big daddy monsters that are actually sprinting at you. Not only sprinting, they fucking slide gap you, and they're gonna slam you in the face into the ground. And you know, like, they're incredibly aggro. And I know that Will's like, well, you gotta prepare better. You gotta prepare better. You're not playing it
Honestly.
right, you fucking loser.
It's not just an action game. You got to conserve your ammo. You got to know what to use on who.
I know.
But then it's all
I looked at it
nostalgia.
as
My
an
nostalgia's
action
looking
game.
back
It's
at it.
more like a survival horror in this really, really cool city. But the entire story of Rapture and Frank Fontaine and all of that was incredible. So I had a great time with that. I'm also playing Fire Emblem Three Hopes on the Switch, and oh man, let me tell you, I don't know if you guys are into any of the strategy, like turn-based strategy RPG styled games, but I'm a Fire Emblem OG fan. I played like the Sacred Stones on like the Game Boy SP that I had back in the day. Loved it. And so playing Three Houses really just like it reset that like love in my heart. It set it on fire for playing through that game and just like really, really digging into the lore. And just that game I put dozens and like hundreds of hours into, just because like it probably, to complete all of the routes, takes, if you're doing like a mainline run and you're not actually and you're not trying to over level your characters, it probably takes 120 hours. It's like a Persona 5 level of like, if you want to get the full story, you have to play a lot of it. But Three Hopes is it's Muso like, so it's going to be just like those Age of Calamity Warriors style games that they've been making.
Okay. Like Dynasty Warriors.
Exactly. So it's going to be, you're running around,
Dynasty
you're attacking
Warriors.
huge mobs, but they kind of implement a lot of that traditional Fire Emblem strategy-based mechanics in there, where you can send a unit all the way across the map, and as long as they're like paired up, or they're fighting a different style of enemy, or an enemy with a specific weapon that they're strong against, then they can succeed. Or you have to go kill something and then run all the way across the map to go help them so they don't get killed. So yeah, had a lot of fun with that.
Nice.
My buddy's a big Fire Emblem fan.
Really? Okay.
He tells me great things.
Yeah.
Great things.
They're really good. They're really good for sure.
Cool. I've been playing still Octopath Traveler, just grinding it. It's a very long game. But I've gotten to a point where I've been like, okay, I know now what I like about this game, but I know what is grinding my gears about this game now. And I have found it, guys. This is what it is. There's a quality of life things that they could have easily implemented, I feel, that it just pissed me off to no end. Like when I go to, let's say, when you go to revive someone, you use a revive spell or item, it will focus the person who is knocked. Obviously, that's an obvious thing. Why would you use it on someone who is alive? You wouldn't, obviously. when you heal, it focuses the person with the least amount of health. Makes sense. What about when someone is poisoned and you want to use a poison heal?
No, use it on the dead person.
Would you not think that it would focus the person who was poisoned? No, it does not.
No.
It does not. And I'm just spamming A because I think that it's gonna do it, and I cast it on someone else, and I'm like, yo, and I waste my turn completely. Wasted a turn.
Yep.
And in some of these boss fights, like you get smashed, so you like constantly have to like your strategy is pretty important. So you got to keep. Like the way it works is you want to break the boss's shield by attacking it with things that it's vulnerable to. And then when you break the shield, they miss a turn. So they go a full turn that they can't act. So it's really important when you have to like kind of manage your turns properly. And then shit like this happens. And it's like the same thing for like if someone is silenced. It's like, oh, this guy's silenced. I need him next turn to be able to cast this spell to break the boss. I use like this item that cures silence, and it puts it on somebody else who's not even. It's like, why would you not program this into the game to focus on the person who is silenced or who is poisoned? Like that's kind of small, but it did tick me off a few times, like in high stakes boss fights that I was in.
Yeah.
But I can give people, for anyone who wants to play this game, some tips here on who to choose as your starting character, because you cannot swap that person out of your party ever in the game.
Okay.
So you're locked with that player at all times. And group composition is pretty important for a lot of the things, because sometimes I found myself getting stuck. Like I was getting like one-shotted with like giant AoE spells because I couldn't break the boss to make him miss a turn. So I had to swap out my characters and like kind of rearrange things because other people had certain moves that they were vulnerable to. And then boom, I would get it first try. Like, geez, man. So it's pretty important group composition. So I will say this. The number one character I say would, if you want to start the game, choose the Thief, dude. He is sweet. Therion the Thief. So he uses swords and daggers. So he covers two vulnerabilities right there. Swords, daggers. As well as he has a fire spell. So that's like 3 pretty common vulnerabilities you'll see. He can restore his own health by attacking, and he can restore his own mana by attacking, and he can also share his mana, or SP is it called, with other people. So he's got some support, and he's very good. So I would say him, number one. Second is the scholar guy, Cyrus the scholar. He's a heavy magic user. He has big 3 spell types, lightning, fire, ice. At the beginning of combat, he unveils, he reveals one vulnerability from each enemy, which is super important. Otherwise, you don't know. Like if you're fighting like a boss or an enemy you've never seen, you have no idea what the vulnerability is, and you basically have to test. You have to like, okay, well, I'll attack him with swords first to see if that does anything. I'll attack him with daggers, or like, so you have to do that. But with this guy, right off the bat, one of them already what it is, and then he's got a skill that can reveal others. So he's super good. I find myself using him a lot as well. And then third is like a healer, one of the healers. You always need a healer in this game. So like, cause you're always getting smashed by big AoEs. So you need someone who can heal all of you. Now there's 2 healers. One of them is the cleric. She's like easy to use. She has AoE heals. She has holy damage. But the other guy is really good, but he's a little harder to use because you have to use reagents for his heals. You have to like collect items, and they're kind of hard to find, and they're expensive. But if you have them, like they are so good. Like you can restore mana to your whole party in one shot, which is pretty rare. You can heal huge heals, but you need to have this one item that is like, it's pretty expensive if you're buying it. And but he also uses axes, which is good, and he has high physical attack too. So those are the 3 that I would say, 3/4. If you're gonna play, use those characters, and you'll be set.
Okay, got it. So Thief, Scholar, and the Healer. And would you say that like the main healer, the predominant healer, the one that does like the holy damage, is it easy to use her in terms of the design?
Yeah, oh yeah. She's just like, she's got 2 heal spells that are both AoE heals. One is more powerful than the other. It costs more mana. Nice. She has 2 holy spells, one AoE, one single. And then she has a reflect, elemental attack reflect spell, which is I've been using it actually recently, and it's pretty good. It completely zeroes out damage and reflects it back on the boss for one character. That's
awesome.
really good.
Okay.
She attacks with a staff. There are some enemies that have a staff vulnerability, but it's not hugely common. But I do sometimes use it just to, even though the attack barely does anything, just to get the shield down and crack the boss, so they miss a turn. I do find myself using that a lot. But yeah, one character do not pick. I'll tell you that is Primrose the Dancer.
Okay.
And here's why.
What? Wait
Got
a
it.
minute. Hold on. I gotta hear this slander. Hold on.
Let me slander this chick here. Okay. So she has this one move that is a random battle effect. Like, that's something you want in your party, like, right? Random battle effect. And half of the time, more than half of the time, it is a negative effect. So I'm like, okay, yeah, we'll use this dance.
Primrose,
And I
no.
crank it up. You can crank it up with battle points, like that. If you just use a regular attack, you'll kind of accumulate these points that you can use all at once and like make your attack super powerful. So I would do that. And one time, I was like, hey, this is pretty good. She gave me like 5 times XP. She'll give you, then it stacks. So she gave me a 2 times XP and then another 5 times XP. And after that fight, everyone leveled up like 3 times. I was like, oh shit, that is crazy.
She's great.
That is great. Then the next time I used it, she silenced my whole party, lowered their defense by like 2 for like 5 turns, and she summoned a monster that healed the boss for 5,000. I was just like,
What?
Wow.
I was just like, I am
What a
never using
bitch.
you again.
All right, so Jonathan, I'm gonna ask an ignorant question here. Can you just kill her and then replace her? Can she just die? Do you have permadeath in this game?
No, you have to keep her for the story if you want to. I guess if you want to complete the game. Her story is pretty cool though.
It's a shame.
Her story
Really,
is cool,
the
but-
narrative.
But man,
Will, you want to? Is there anything else there
Will.
for you, Will?
I don't think so. So we had Stray. We talked about. I'm
Stray.
also playing Far Cry 5, but it's barely a real game. I don't want to give Ubisoft a bunch of hype. I mean, it's like if you've played an Ubisoft game in the last 10 years, you've played every Ubisoft game in the last 10 years. It's like, are you the first person exploration? Are you the third person assassin exploration? It's like it's all the same thing. So I'm just
That
like,
actually reminds me
it's
to write
fine.
something down here.
Dan, didn't you play Far Cry? What did you play? What's that beast?
I
one?
played Far Cry Primal, okay?
Primal.
And I fucking loved Far Cry Primal.
Really?
Okay, I
Just
have
as-
not
okay.
played Primal yet. I have not.
You haven't played Primal, okay.
I've
I
heard good
recommend
things
it.
about that one.
I recommend it. I'll talk about
It
that
looked pretty
when we
cool.
get into our main topic.
Okay.
But we'll continue.
Yeah, so I'm having a decent time with it. It's Ubisoft, so it's Ubisoft is Ubisoft. I'm having a great time, as you mentioned, listening to the animal episode talking about Cheeseburger running around with the diabetic bear, just ripping off faces. So that's fun. That's awesome. That's a pretty good time.
I heard you talking about that. I'm like, what the hell? Diabetic
Yeah,
bear.
like just having a blast. Just like, oh, we named him Cheeseburger.
Poor boy.
But because we gave him too many cheeseburgers and now he has diabetes. I'm like, of course, there's bears in America. It only makes sense. So it's like, now we have to give him salmon paste. I'm like a bear should be eating salmon.
Salmon.
It's so
Like
backwards.
protein. Nice.
But I will give it that then. The Ubisoft comedy's still there. So it's pretty fun to run around shooting people and then just hear like some jokes popping off. It's almost like being in a very violent version of the MCU. Everyone has something quippy to say.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, nice. Cool.
Yeah, I have not played a lot of the Far Cry games other than Primal. Like, that's been the most hours I've logged into a Far Cry game, if not the first one, just when I was really young. And didn't know what the hell
I
was
remember
going
the first
on, so-
one, the very first one. It was a
it was
big deal
wild.
back when it first came out. I remember that, like, because
Yeah.
it was like this, like I remember the graphics were really good at the time, and I was like, oh, and I had this. We had like pretty good computers back then, so I wanted to test it out. You know, play Far Cry. It's supposed to be really good. Same with Doom 3. Remember the first Doom 3
Yes.
when it got like super scary
Yes.
because it was actually
Yeah.
like realistic because the graphics.
the lighting was crazy.
Yeah. And you have to choose between a flashlight or a gun. I'm
Yeah,
like, this is
yeah.
a terrible.
Which one? Which
Scared
one?
the shit out of me, man. I remember my buddy Squirty Wirt, as his gamer tag is. He came into my house like because we would just walk into each other's houses back in the day, and I'm fucking playing this game, It's like dusk, so it's pretty dark. I didn't have any lights on. I'm in the fucking headset playing Doom 3, and he's been standing, I guess, behind me for like a couple of minutes, like watching me play, and then he like hit my chair, and oh my god, I jumped out of my
Flew across the room. I bet.
like, oh man, what the hell are you doing, dude? Like, throw my headset off, like fuck. But yeah, I remember that back in the day. That was sweet. I think it actually came with my video card, my 6800 GT. Remember that shit?
Oh, wow.
Light flex,
Wow.
light flex.
That's what I was gonna ask. I was like, what did Doom 3 come out on? Because it was PC, I'm assuming, at that point in time.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
big time.
And was it still id Software that was making it, and they've just continued to make them since?
I think so.
I
Wait,
don't
does
know
it
about
make
that.
Does it make Quake? Did it make Quake?
They could have made Quake.
Quake and
I
Doom?
could be totally
I think it might
wrong.
be Quake. I'm not sure.
Maybe
Who
they're
made it.
both.
I don't remember. But yeah, it was cool. It was very scary though, and I probably
Yeah.
played through half of the game, maybe like the story mode, and I was like, okay, I can't play this anymore.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
And now we're all looking
Yeah,
forward
it-
to Callisto Protocol.
yeah, so I'm
Oh
gonna play
god, yes!
Let's
I'm
go.
so excited.
So
I love
pumped for
Callisto.
it. It's
I
gonna be
wonder how
it's
many
gonna be a
times I'll
weird
shit my
time.
pants
Yeah.
while playing it.
Yeah, it's going to be a really weird time to launch because it's launching at the beginning of December. So we're going to have like all of these like fun Christmassy vibes, and we're going to be going out getting presents for the family, and then we're going to go home and like
the
murder
dark.
aliens or get our like
Yeah,
torso
yeah.
ripped in half, and I'm going to be like, okay,
Merry
okay, we
Christmas.
need some variety. Yeah,
The most wonderful time of the year.
Happiest time.
Excited.
That's
You just have
awesome.
Christmas
That's
music
awesome.
on in the
That's a good point.
background.
Yeah, it's a Krampus Christmas right there.
Krampus, there it is.
Gaming worlds. Gaming worlds.
Let's
Video
go.
game.
What are our
worlds.
favorite worlds? Why? What makes a good world? We're going to talk about this kind of thing.
Okay.
Who wants to go first?
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, where do we start?
I'll let
I
one of
don't
y'all
know.
go first because I'm
Yeah.
curious to see what y'all say.
I
sure.
think
We're probably
gonna
gonna
have
hit
similar things. I would say.
Okay.
Very
I'll go-
similar.
So overlap
similar.
isn't a bad thing.
What are y'all
No.
related or something?
What did you all watch each other play the same games for 5 hours?
1,000 hours.
You guys don't have 1,000 hours?
Awesome. That's hilarious.
Okay, I'll go.
Jonathan,
I'll go
you said you
first.
wanted to go first?
I'll go first.
Start us
I
off.
mean, number one here I have. First one. I mean, these are not really in any particular order, I don't think. Maybe, I don't know if I could really put one over others. Maybe I can. Okay, let's say this is the top. The Elder Scrolls universe, obviously. We
Dangerous.
have Morrowind, Skyrim, Elsewhere. What? Tamriel, is that the whole thing? Is what it's called?
Tamriel is the whole
Tamriel.
thing.
The whole deal, yeah.
Cyrodiil
Tamriel.
and Oblivion.
We got to go Tamriel. Yes, Cyrodiil.
You want to go to Oblivion?
Yeah, and then you have Oblivion. Then you have
The
Oblivion.
Hammerfell.
I
You
hated
know. I don't. This is. I don't know if like you've heard the rumors, but apparently they've rumored that Elder Scrolls 6 is going to take place in Hammerfell, which is the Red Guard territory.
Yes,
which is
yes. Cool, nice,
Sick.
Yeah, well, I
Okay.
think Oblivion was the first like real huge like open world game. I think maybe I played a bit of Morrowind, but not really because I wasn't. I think it was on Xbox, and we didn't.
I played
have
a
an
bit.
Xbox. Yeah, I think you played it more with your buddies there on Xbox, but Oblivion was like. I put 100 hours at least into that before I even. I think I lost. I lost my save due to a formatting
Due
incident.
to Nathaniel.
Came into my room.
The menace.
No,
That
I
was
think I lost
malicious.
it- I think I lost it at like 92 hours, and then I just started again. But that was when I was playing World of Warcraft at the same time too. So, like, I kind of. But it was my first like real open world game. But
Nathaniel
that
is
whole
a
world,
data terrorist.
yeah. He is a data terrorist. But it brought a real sense that you were in another place, and there were so many things happening around you, even in Oblivion. And like comparatively now, Oblivion was like they had 2 voice actors. It wasn't really
Hey, man.
3
They
voice
had like
actors.
4.
Or at least 4, right?
It was, but it was still sweet, and you were like, "Oh man, everyone says all these different lines," and you walk around, people talk to you while you walk by. Like it just seemed
Yeah,
real,
yeah.
like sneaking around at night, seeing things that are happening, like in the houses. Like I was a huge thief, and I would sneak around everywhere, and I would go into every locked door and try to find like what was happening inside of all these houses, and there was always people in there, and it was hilarious. Like, but definitely that was there was always something to do or see, and it was really immersive. So that's I feel like what I look for in a world, like immersive things that just make you feel like you're there. Obviously, immersion.
Sure.
I think Witcher 3 kind of did the same thing. It seemed like there was always something going on that you stumble upon in the middle of freaking nowhere, and you're like, what is going on here? And then you have like a quest from it. It's like, holy crap, that was actually super cool in this little side quest that had nothing to do with like the main. Like, I remember a lot of those in Witcher 3.
So nobody beats CD Projekt Red when it comes to that side quest narrative design and that like lived-in world experience. I love that part about the Wild Hunt.
Yeah, and Cyberpunk it's probably similar. I would say like, Cyberpunk is big too.
I love the side jobs in Cyberpunk.
Will won't let
Just
me play
because they
it.
all have
He's
their
just
own.
allowed me to play it.
You have better things to play.
Just like he won't let me play. He won't let me
do
play
it.
Kirby and the Forgotten Land. And he won't let me play
Nope, you have
Cyberpunk.
better things to play.
I remember
Cyberpunk
that.
is really
Don't
good.
even bother with Kirby.
bother
I've never
with
played a
Kirby?
Kirby game.
Okay.
I've never played a Kirby game. I've seen them. My buddy likes them, and I'm just like, I could go my whole life without playing them. I'm sure, right, Will? I'm sure I
Yep.
could go my whole life without
Yeah,
playing
you
a
could.
Kirby game.
Kirby is cool. I'm not gonna sit here and be like it's bad, but
Yeah,
you
of
got,
course.
like you said, you got other stuff to do. Yeah, you
Nick,
could,
Nick, play what you want to play.
I got to do my homework. I know. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate that solidarity.
That's funny.
So
Yeah,
Elder
Oblivion
Scrolls,
is a big one
Witcher
for
3.
sure.
How about this one? Grand
3.
Theft Auto 5. Grand Theft
Isn't that
Auto
real
5.
world?
Ooh, yeah.
Okay.
Grand Theft Auto 5, the Los Santos is one of my favorite places to be. In
I wouldn't want to live there.
It's true.
Why don't you fucking go there?
You can just hop on a plane and come to America. It's like the same thing.
Yeah, basically.
I don't want to do that, but I want to do this.
You're like, I just want to live in Los Santos. I'm like, it's right over there in California.
It's like a 6-hour plane
it's the
flight,
same
yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
You're
that's
good.
hilarious.
You got
But like,
it.
I spent so many hours
fuck.
in GTA 5 online with my buddies on Xbox. We would do this what we call the Duke sessions, which is where we had this car that they have in GTA 5 online called the Duke of Death. It's just this big muscle car that's like armored to shit. It's an absolute tank. And we would just drive it around. I think Nathaniel joined us a couple times. Just drive it around all over the city and just cause havoc, smashing into everything, seeing what you can, obviously seeing how many stars you can get, and just driving around. There's this one bridge. I don't know if you know the bridge that's before the airport on the coast. This long, tall bridge, or before the military base on the left hand side of the map.
I think I remember that mission.
We would go to that bridge and just smash people around, and the cops come to us, and just on
Yeah.
that bridge, and we would take full runs and smash into people, and they would go absolutely flying off the bridge. It was
Over
so
the bridge.
fucking funny, man. And we would just do
Because
that.
there's a
We
huge
could
like
just-
chasm under it, wasn't it?
Yeah,
There was like a
just
ravine or like
drop, a huge drop.
Way down. Yeah.
And we would just
Yeah.
bomb cops off of the freaking bridge. Man, it was so funny. But like, we got so many clips of hilarious shit happening in that game, and that's definitely one of my favorites for sure. And you can just like hop
Well,
in
actually,
planes,
I have
fly
clips.
around. Yeah,
I have
think
clips
you
of me and you doing that.
Okay.
On that bridge. That's why I recognize it.
Yeah, just people like
Hilarious.
setting on fire randomly. It's like, what the hell? He just set on fire. Like, we didn't even touch him, but he like get out of the
man.
car and they're
It
on
was
fire.
chaos.
Yeah.
You can get into fighter jets and fly around. You can actually, remember, you can hijack commercial planes at the airport on the runway if one was coming down and
really?
landing. If
I
you
didn't
were,
know that. No.
yeah, if you could get up beside it and you just press the triangle or whatever to get into the, you would get into the commercial jet and you could fly these huge jets around. But that's those are, I guess, like three of my like top, I would say,
So-
top worlds.
So what you're saying is you would love to jump in to Grand Theft Auto 5 and live that life?
No,
He's
it's not
gonna
what I'm
murder
saying.
everybody.
These are just, I'm just giving you top. my
He's
top
got this.
worlds.
He's got this dark, deep Jonathan that he's pushed down, and he's
I don't
ready
know
to
what-
let it out.
No, these. I don't know if I'd want to live in any of these worlds. I don't know about that.
That's an interesting question because I have thought about that element, that avenue of our topic is would I want to find myself
Yeah, that's what I was also.
in any of them, you know.
Yep.
I don't know
And
about
I
that.
think I may have one or two. Not a whole lot, man.
Yeah, yeah. There's so
Yeah.
many.
This is some pretty dangerous shit.
Sad thing about making a fun game world is like, I don't want to stay here, but this is cool.
I don't want to live here. Who?
Cool.
Well, that's it for me. You guys.
Let's
who's up
let's
next?
kick it over to Will. Let's get him
All right.
talking.
So for myself, let's see. I got a couple. I've looked at the overall topic, and I was trying to say, okay, one that I just want to experience and unplug myself out of, like Matrix style, and another one, if you had to choose, you're going to live in this world forever, be comfortable. I'm like, okay, what would I actually want to be locked into?
Nice. Yeah.
So I was thinking for the one, I'd like to get plugged into a Horizon, like Forbidden West, Horizon Zero Dawn. I think that world is really cool. The fact that you get that overall reset, but you still have some technology. Like obviously, there's the robots.
Yeah,
that's true. People are treating technology like magic, so it's kind of neat that there still is tech there. Yep, the Great Reset. It's coming. It's going to be cave women running all over the place with spears.
Dinosaur robots.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm like, is this what I wanted the whole time?
Oh man.
But this is the crazy thing though, because like the games themselves are obviously so gorgeous, which means everyone just looks very good. So it's super far into the future, so far into the future. It wraps back on itself, and everyone's a caveman or cavewoman, but everyone's extremely attractive. So I'm just like, this is cool. Are you plugged in here?
I'm good with it. I'm good with
We'll
it.
fight some robots. We'll eat some pigs. We'll hang out. What's going on, Aloy? What's good?
I don't need TV. I can just go hunt a raptor or hunt a longhorn or something.
So you're gonna teach me how to ride a couple of these robots? What's happening? What's going on? So, like I said, it'd be fun to hang out there, do some fun stuff, do some hunting. Get some cool battle scars, and then be able to unplug and be like, good, that is not my real life at all. Because living there would be horrific. Like you see those thunder jaws are some of the scariest things in video games from the player's perspective.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, it's a
Having
giant
to fight
metal
those
T-Rex.
things on foot? Are you kidding me?
Yes, on foot.
Yeah.
What are they?
They have,
I
like,
haven't seen it.
rockets.
Sweet.
Oh, the thunder jaws. So they're pretty much a T-Rex that's just all metal, super sharp metal, and they have rockets on their shoulders, and they also shoot drones that also shoot rockets at you. Yep. And the game hands you a bow and arrow, and it says, kill
Here
this
you go.
thing.
Kill this thing. Yep.
This is what you'll need.
That is fucking funny.
I'm like, excuse me?
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
You better get really good with that bow on your pastime. That's your pastime. Instead of watching TV in that world, you target practice.
Yeah, exactly.
That sounds.
But I
great.
think it'd be really fun to just kind of like plug in, plug out, be good. If I was going to actually be stuck in a world and have to live there, I do have two. One's for like real life simulator, and then the other one's like, this would just be fun to live in because it doesn't seem extremely violent. Animal Crossing would be fun. I would like to just live on an island, kind of vibe out.
that island life.
Oh yeah.
Just have a bunch
get
of
to
little
be the
animal
mayor.
friends. You get to be the mayor. You pay
The
off
worst
your
thing
debt
is doing
eventually.
chores. Yeah,
You don't have to
You
worry
get
about
to be
your
the
credit
mayor.
record.
You are
exactly.
in
Wow, yes.
charge.
But don't forget, you can't escape debt.
You can't escape
Yeah,
capitalism.
Animal Crossing.
It always
You
finds
will
You can't
owe
escape
it.
it. It always comes back.
Yeah, you will owe Tom Nook something.
unless
Unless-
you can
Matter
corner
what
the
it is.
stock market.
Exactly, which is the turnip market. You tell people to come buy turnips at extremely high prices from you.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, a great
It's
game.
like
That's a good.
That was
it's a good
insider
game.
trading there. That was effectively insider trading for the longest time during the pandemic.
Yeah.
People were playing the new Animal Crossing. They'd be like, yo, my turnips over here are like $25. You can come buy a bunch, and then you can go to my friends who you can sell them for $100. I'm like, this is all highly illegal. I'm in.
You're allowed to tell me that.
I'm in right
Great
now.
illegal
I
pastime.
remember Daniel was talking about that. Kept talking about this stock market,
yeah.
this turnip prices. I'm just like, what are you
Yep.
talking about? And then my wife started playing it. And then she
Yeah.
kept telling me
Yeah,
about it.
John.
I'm like, yeah, I know all about the stock market, okay? I did turnip prices.
See, but it's funny because then once they introduced farming in Animal Crossing, which I would love to do, I started doing that. Then I got out of the stock market game because I just made
Stock
enough
game.
money to keep me going
Yeah.
with the farming, right? So cool.
Because that's the dream, is eventually
It's a
you
good
can
choice.
just stop working and be a farmer.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
live
Then
on my
switch
Animal
over to
Crossing
Stardew
farm.
Valley.
Yeah. Ooh, another one.
I played
yeah.
it.
That's the
Played a
thing, is like
bunch
you're
of
playing
Stardew
Animal
Valley.
Crossing. It's like, I just want to go farming in Animal Crossing. I'm like, Stardew Valley is over there. And you're like, no, but it's different. It's different.
It is very different. It's
Play
not the same.
whatever the new Harvest Moon. Didn't a new Harvest Moon
Yep,
come out?
Harvest Moon too.
One of
There
my
was a
favorite
story of
franchises.
Daniel,
seasons
didn't you say a
came
new one came out?
There was story seasons, Friends of All of Town or
Yeah, I
something,
think that's
and
the
then there's
newest one.
another one that just came out or was
it
announced
wasn't very
or something.
good, right?
I don't know. I didn't get to play it.
Okay.
Yeah, I played
I've been playing the Mineral Town one, the remake of the old Game Boy Color one or something.
Okay.
And I love it because it's basically Back to Nature on PS1, but just on Switch and different models and stuff. I love it.
Story of
I'm a
Seasons.
big fanboy.
Friends of Mineral Town. Is that the one?
Friends of Mineral Town was the one you and I were playing. Nathaniel
Yeah.
might have been playing a bit.
I
too,
played
yeah.
it. It was good. Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah.
Isn't that
It
wild
really
how
brought
some
me
video
back.
games just got us to do chores?
Yeah.
Like
I
we're
know.
doing Harvest Moon.
You mean that,
Mike
like,
and I
they're
were
still
talking
doing?
about Power Wash Simulator.
Power Wash
Power
Simulator.
I'm like, we're literally over here. I'm over here power washing the side of a virtual house.
It's so
My real life
fun.
house is
It's
just
so
like,
fucking
please clean me, God.
Oh, my God.
Go outside. Go outside.
There's dirt everywhere.
Why don't you clean
the real fucking house?
Your wife.
My wife is watching me mow the lawn on the screen. And she looks outside the window.
How many hours you got logged into that?
I got 1,000 hours in Power Wash Simulator, boys. Holy shit!
How
Why
much
don't you
money?
make it a job?
Hell no. Fuck
Go
that.
get a job.
Oh fuck!
That's like
That
when
is
we were
funny,
kids.
man.
When we were kids, we'd be playing games, probably Harvest Moon, and my dad would come in, and he'd come in. He's like, "What are you guys doing?" He's like, "There's girls out there. There are girls out there." We're like, "Yeah, whatever."
Whatever. Girls are cool,
Look at
Dad.
the cows.
Yeah.
Dad, I'm about to get married, okay?
Yeah, I'm about to get
I'm
married
not
in the
looking
game.
for a girl. I'm looking for a woman. I'm getting married.
Look, I'm going to
gonna
give her
take care of
some
my home.
flowers. Give her some flowers. She's got a purple heart. Oh, it just went green. You like the different hearts.
Oh, fuck.
Exactly.
yes.
Exactly.
I've got to say, I would live in those worlds for sure.
Oh, okay, so we got that. So Animal Crossing, all those little fun farm sims. And then I was thinking for like a really fun one that's hopefully not super violent. Katamari Damacy would be great to just kind of like live in.
That is like the most
one was that
existential,
again?
like horrific game that I could imagine you
It's
wanting
not
to go into.
existential.
Are you?
Which
You're
one is
wrapping
that?
up the entire world in a universe.
think about it.
compressed into a fucking ball, dude.
I know,
Okay,
but the
I don't
overall
know
topic
that
was
Jonathan
you
and
could be the
Nathaniel
hero.
know about this game.
What's
Yeah,
this
you're
say?
not familiar with Katamari Damacy?
No, I don't
No,
think
I don't
so.
think
No, I don't think so. Will, tell
So
us
fun.
about that game.
So super fun. I don't know if it started at PS2 or if it started PS1. I can't remember.
My
but
first time playing it was PS2.
PS2.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I remember it from. So effectively, you're playing the son of like God, and
Yeah.
no, super easy, very low level. So you're playing the son of God, and you start off and you have this little sticky ball, right? And you're maybe the size of like a bug, kind of like a small
Okay.
child, something like that. You're very tiny, and you're picking up things around a house or a room, like little
Paper
dirt clumps,
clips, yeah.
paper clips, things like that. They're sticking to the ball, and as you pick up more things, the ball slowly gets bigger. And as the game progresses, you go from picking up things like tables with the ball, and then you're picking up things like
Cars.
Cars. Yep, you're picking up buildings. You're picking up entire continents. And then it goes like, I don't know if anyone's ever seen like Gurren Lagann, where it's just like ridiculous anime where you get like bigger and bigger. You're picking up galaxies as you're rolling this ball.
That is such a cool concept. I actually never played it, and I'm very curious.
It's
just
so
because I want
fun.
to see.
It's fun.
I want to see what that's like.
Yeah, if you can find it anywhere, like I'd highly recommend just giving it a try because it's obviously super low stakes, but it's just fun. It's very similar to Donut County.
Yep.
If you've ever played that
Okay.
before. Yeah, but except instead of dropping things into holes, you're rolling it up into, like Nick was saying, like a ball that just compresses into
It
the
looks like
density of time and space.
That's hilarious.
It looks like the everlasting gobstopper from Willy Wonka.
Yeah, that's what a ball is exactly what it is. Yep. But I was like, if I'm going to be the hero, it'd be great.
Wow. Okay,
Nice,
That's,
okay,
very
okay.
interesting.
That is hilarious.
Very interesting.
That is a
I'm gonna
unique
look-
world.
I'm gonna look up videos of this game.
Like, I
for
highly
some
recommend
reason,
you to check it out. It's so
I
fun.
thought I was thinking
Well,
of
it's on
like
Switch now, I think.
Spore. You ever play Spore, where you have to start?
Oh,
with,
Is
like,
that the
Yeah.
one where you get to like you
where
get
you
to
play
harvest
God?
planets, or you get to actually like make life or something?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
start
well, you
as
start as like an amoeba in the
amoeba.
tide pools.
Yeah, and
then
you have to,
just
like,
keep consuming until
Yeah.
you evolve.
Yeah, and you
that's right,
evolve,
that's right.
and you can create like, oh, I'm gonna create my legs now. I'm gonna go onto land, and you go onto land, and then you do the same thing on land. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. You just keep going until it's like this big,
Yeah, I
this
remember that
big,
game.
huge world.
Isn't it like where you make nightmare monsters that everyone looks like
Yeah.
real monsters?
Yes.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can evolve your. You can
was
evolve your
hilarious.
guy to anything pretty much that you want, and you can be like a predator, or you can be like a carnivore, and you'd have to like run away from the
Carnivore,
predators that were
herbivore,
on the
like-
map. Yeah, it was weird, but it was cool. Interesting.
I really enjoyed it. It was like the last game that Maxis made, I think. I don't even know if they've made games since.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Make
Yeah.
SimCity?
Anyway.
What did they make?
Cool.
Yeah, SimCity was
SimCity, Sims. Then they made Spore. That was like their last installment of a long run of games.
Jeez.
All right, Nick, what do you got?
Cool.
I got a couple of good ones. So some of these I've talked about before on the show, but that's okay. I would like to live in the Mass Effect universe, specifically on the Citadel, but I'm
Nice.
prefacing this. I would like to live there before the events of Mass Effects 1 through 3 actually occur. So like the humans, like I have enough time because obviously like I think humans back then they lived maybe a little bit longer, but they still in that like 100 to 150 years old, and then they kind of croak and die. But like yeah, living in that time span when like humanity comes to the Citadel and they're like with all of the different races in that super cool sci-fi universe where like everything's kind of like I don't know egalitarian or it's I mean there's a lot of corporatism in that game too, but like it's just it seemed as though like that was like I always give a lot of hope when stories tell like when people tell stories of humanity living in the future and like the way that potentially that they could do it successfully like with other species that are outside of humanity. Of course you always inevitably experience some space racism. It's just going to be the case, and obviously a lot of humans are going to be space racist. Spacism, speciesism, all of that good stuff. But I think that like not only that, but again, kind of like what Dan was talking about of looking at it through the lens, like obviously I don't want to have to deal with the Reapers because literally almost everybody died, during that whole event when the Reapers decided to come and like actually attack the Citadel. So I would rather not have to live through that. But kind of going through there and like being able to hang out with the Asaris and all that good stuff, I think it'd be pretty fun. And then and it's just like also looking at it from the lens of like jumping in that world and being the hero. If I got to do like Will was saying and like unplug, jumping in and like being Shepard in that story would be so cool because not only is he like just an interesting character, but like being able to be in that like position of power and being able to kind of like negotiate with all of these like foreign governments, it probably would be super stressful. I can't imagine what a real life person would do if they had to stand up to the pressure of being Commander Shepard in real life.
That's right. That's right.
But I mean, I think it's just the idea of it. It's very fun. So I like that. Definitely Mass Effect living on the Citadel would be super fun.
I had thought, I thought about that. I was like, would I want to live in Mass Effect?
Yeah.
That was one
I
of
think
my
it'd be cool to live in
considerations.
anything where you could just space travel and shit like that. It would just be
Exactly.
sweet.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Until
I know.
the smallest thing goes wrong.
Until you're sucked through a pinhole window
That's what I'm saying,
and you just liquefied yourself into space. Yeah.
Did something hit my ship going however many light years?
So I was thinking about Mass Effect, and then I considered this. I considered this for a while, but I would like to say that I think I would have a lot of fun living on Tsushima from Ghost of Tsushima, just because of how incredibly beautiful that game is. And simply now I will have a lot of problems. Obviously, like there's not modern plumbing. So there would be maybe an outhouse situation. I mean, we don't have the same entertainment. The entertainment that we would have there would be like going outside and running around in the forest and talking to little foxes. But this idea of like,
You would you know Japanese though? If you jumped in there, you'd be fucked if you didn't know Japanese.
well, I spent.
you mention it.
Actually, I lived a year in Japan.
Shit.
Recently. Yeah, so I know enough conversational Japanese to like make sure that they don't murder me on site.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
there's that. But like, definitely kind of that whole aesthetic of like how like I put in my notes here, possibly I would like to live in one of those cool fortresses that sit alongside the cliff that overlook like one of those sea bays. Just the vistas in that game.
Yeah, man.
Incredible,
Oh, man,
incredible.
I
Maybe
know.
like somewhere in that middle area. And then like go on a journey and go find like a shrine or something like that every couple of months or something. I just think that
Pet those foxes.
got to pet the foxes. You got to go in there, make friends with foxes, and then maybe learn a couple of sword art techniques. Swipe through some baddies.
Some bamboo, yeah.
If
Oh,
games,
man.
what a game.
What a
real
fucking
world
beautiful
were like games.
That was one of those games where I like walked. There's a few handful of games that I have written down, and I think they're Red Dead Redemption 2,
Okay.
Valhalla, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and Ghost of Tsushima, where I would just walk. Like I didn't bother running, I didn't bother galloping. I would just walk through the world, through the snow and shit and random encounters, just because it was just to gawk at the environments. Like I would just be like,
Agreed.
just to kind of all those, like you said, those vistas is a good word. you know, and you're seeing the sunsets in that game. It's just incredible, and like the light coming through the trees and all that stuff. Here's a question.
Okay.
Do you know Mongolian?
I don't.
He's done.
That would ruin me. I also like thought
might be
about
what
this.
killed you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
In terms of like this question, I don't know if I would want to be like the Jin Sakai replacement. I would be more like Kenji, where I'd be scraping by the chin of my teeth, and, skin of my teeth, and like jumping in barrels and like hiding out, being like, "You didn't get me this time," and then having my friends constantly save me. That
Save
definitely
your ass,
would be,
That was fucking
more
funny.
along the lines of
Sakai-sama! With his rice,
But,
his sake.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah,
the
he's the sake trader. Yeah, he's so shifty. That's how you survive in areas like that, especially war-torn places. You just gotta be funny, and you gotta be conniving. That's all you gotta do to survive.
That's it.
Right?
That's all you need.
And you got to give both parties what they want.
Right.
Sake, right?
Exactly.
Man, when you were talking
Drinks.
about plugging in, like, and like if you could just plug in and like live it and then like just unplug, it reminds me of this book series that I read. I think I read the first one anyway, but it's like that where we have actors. It's like in the future we have actors, but actors, what they do is they actually plug into this this machine that sends them to another planet. That
Is
other
this Heroes
planets-
Die?
Yes, Heroes Die.
Oh, dude,
Have
I
you read
love
it?
that book
It was
series.
so
oh
sick.
my god,
It was so
it was
sick.
so cool. Yeah, Matthew
But
Woodring
yeah, that's what
Stover.
it's like. Yeah, it was so good. And Kane, the main character, he's an actor on our planet, like he's in the real world. But when he plugs in, he goes to a different planet, and he's like this crazy badass like assassin guy.
Yeah.
And people, what they do is they record it, and you can plug in if you're a viewer, like a consumer of the product. You can plug in and experience everything.
Everything that they're feeling or that they're doing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like all of like the rich people. That's what they do. They get together and they watch these actors like live these like fake lives in this real world and like do crazy stuff. And there are like also like gods or entities and stuff that like kind of come up and like make big problems for everybody. But such a cool series. I've never
Yeah,
met anybody
really
who's
nice.
read that, so that's really cool, Jonathan.
nice.
But
It
yeah,
was sick.
so I would like to do that. And then I have a couple of here. We've talked about the continent from The Witcher 3. I would love to I don't think I would want to live in The Witcher. That place is so dark and it's so fucked on so many levels that I don't know I'd be able to survive very long. But I did put on here Kingdom Hearts. So I was really thinking that like Kingdom Hearts would be fun. Obviously, you got that blend of like sci-fi fantasy mixed with like the Disney stuff. And I think like maybe if I was able to turn into like, Sora or Riku or something and then go to like one of those like softer Disney worlds, like
Live in a
I don't
castle?
know, like Frozen or something like that. Exactly. Yeah. Go Beauty and the Beast and just like go hang out there and like
I want
hopefully
to go to the
just,
musical episode.
Yeah, exactly.
He's just singing all the time. He's just, man, this is
No,
exhausting.
I don't want
Dancing
to.
and
I
singing.
hate musicals. I hate musical. That would be an unending nightmare if they made me sing. that would be horrific. I'd be like, please, God, save me. Yeah. So that
The
but
Wild Hunt, the continent's not looking so bad now, huh?
at least Geralt won't make me do a song and dance number for him.
They would before they kill you, before they cut you down.
Yeah, they would.
That'd be scary.
They would.
That's
oh my
funny.
gosh.
Kingdom Hearts, I forgot about that game, eh?
Yeah.
That was a very cool, because I remember watching
My
Nasty
wife
Nate
played
play
those.
that.
My wife was
Yeah.
big into those games.
When it first came out. I think it was PlayStation 2,
That was
right?
a long time ago.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it was
PlayStation
ages
2 was
ago.
when the first one came out. Mm-hmm.
When the first one came out, and I would just watch Nathaniel. It was such a weird concept because I was used to watching them play Final Fantasy VII and, what that kind of looked like. And then all of a sudden there was this kind of action RPG where you were no longer, it wasn't turn-based like Final Fantasy VII was. It was all, you were running around and doing the slashing as far as I remember,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So that was like the first time I had seen, I think, an action RPG. And then I was like in this world where, you were kind of this anime type Japanese character immersed in this Disney world. And I
You're
was
talking
like,
to
these- all
Simba
these-
and
yeah, it was
all that
so
stuff.
it was so cool. It was refreshing. I remember that. It was
Did you
very
know they had the same director, Tetsuya Nomura? He's the same director of Final Fantasy VII and a couple of other
I
Final
did not
Fantasies.
know
And
that.
Did he
was
do
the
all
one
of
that
them?
He didn't do all of 3. He did 1 and 2, and then he had an assistant director on 3. That was like a think tank game. Like that had a lot of problems, but he definitely was like one of the pioneers for Kingdom Hearts.
I think I remember when that first came out, like reading that in like one of our magazines, like PlayStation Magazine or something like that. It's where we got all of our information, our news and stuff, right? Back in the day.
Yeah.
Man, magazines. Like going down to
Nintendo Power.
Talk about
Nintendo Power. I had a
forwards, man.
subscription. I had a subscription to Nintendo Power. I had a subscription to PSM. It was called PSM, PlayStation Magazine. But I think I'm sure I read that in that, and I remember being like, "Whoa, I want to play this game because Final Fantasy VII was like my favorite game." But I actually never ended up playing it. I think Nathaniel did, but I didn't.
Dumb question. Did you guys? I'm guessing. Do you guys have GameStop in Canada, or they call it something else?
Yes, we had
we have
EB
GameStop.
Games
Okay.
that got bought out by
Got
GameStop.
it.
Yeah, it got bought out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it used to be EB.
Okay, yeah, that's the same here. And like, I'm assuming that they did the same thing to you whenever you go in. Do you want a membership? You get a free Game Informer. That's always what got my mom. She was like, "Oh, well, if he gets a magazine, I might as well pay a little bit extra for the membership." So, yeah, that's how we were like back in the day.
I love that.
I don't think we had a membership, but like I remember renting. We would rent games rather than going to like. We had a small game shop that we would rent games from. That it was kind of like think EB Games, but like it had everything, or GameStop, I guess.
It was like
But
Blockbuster.
it's like
it was like
renting.
Blockbuster, but games.
But only games. So they had everything. They had
Yeah, okay.
systems. You want to rent consoles, everything you rented out. And
That's
I think we
pretty cool.
talked about this. We had talked about this in earlier episodes, but like we would rent out. We first played Ocarina of Time at my cousin's house, like just an insane experience. Like the first time you play Ocarina of Time, and I was like, and we didn't own a Nintendo 64 at the time. We had a PS1. So when we got home, I was like, hey, I have to go. I have to play this game. I have to finish this game. So we had to go rent the N64 console for a week. And I rented the game with it, and I had to beat it because I just had to. And you had to put down like this big deposit on the system too. Remember, that was a big deal. It's like, just in case you like break it or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, we definitely did that.
Renting.
It was sweet.
Who's next?
Let me rip this.
All
Let's
right.
go.
So my first one is the Chrono Cross World.
Ooh. Okay. Wow.
Like
Yeah,
if
that was
I were
actually
to
sweet.
like if I were to jump into that one and like everything was just so perfect for me in that one, like the art, like the way the world looked, how they like painted everything. It was like a dream, pretty much. I
Yes,
think that's
it
what they
was.
were trying to get across,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
The music just blew my brains out on that game, and just being in that world with the music, the characters, the atmosphere was just amazing. And being able to jump into that world, run around, collect those party members, and go,
Those
do
28
our
party
thing.
members.
Oh man,
Whatever it was.
Ridiculous.
How many hours
how
is in
many-
that game, you think?
I keep wanting to replay it. I just got the remastered one, and I modded the shit out of it for PC.
Okay.
And I played like 5-6 hours. It's so fucking sick. I want to sit down and
Man,
play
I
through
had
it
a lot
again.
of hours in that one. That's another one I had a lot of hours in, actually,
Okay.
when it came out.
So
It
you
was
say like
4
120
discs long.
plus, maybe?
I'd say 100 hours for sure
Yeah,
if you
I'd
want to
say
get
100.
every character, all the moves, because they had like combo moves and stuff that I think you had to do quests to unlock and find.
Yeah.
I remember I did play it over again on an emulator. I don't know if we have to bleep that word out. Actually, no.
We're saying it ironically. It's not saying
Nintendo.
Nintendo. Don't listen.
Exactly.
We're saying
It's
it
not real.
ironically.
We're fine.
Nintendo.
We're fine. It's not Nintendo. But yeah, and then I lost my save file after like 8 hours, and I was like, "Fuck, I'm not going doing that again." Nope.
Yeah.
And then that's the last time I played it. But it was, it's a really good game. If anyone has not played
That time, Nathaniel just didn't tell you that he wiped your
No, this is-
save file.
No, it was my save state. My fat finger probably hit the wrong. I was using save state instead of like the
Oh,
save
yeah.
files. And I was like load save. And I hit a load state and then save state right after.
Yeah.
Oh, gone.
Oh, yeah.
But
Vanished.
like Chrono
In
Cross,
the arms of the angels.
so good, so good. Like even if I were to jump in and live in that world, I think it'd be pretty easy.
You'd be in
would be-
Nikki's band.
Yeah,
Be the drummer?
Fuck yeah,
Lots of adventure, yeah.
New drummer.
You have a good time.
The Radical Dreamers, hell yeah.
Spiky JRPG.
Then the
hair,
world
I'd be
ends.
down with
Yeah.
it.
Then the world ends.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd have hair. You'd actually have hair. In that world.
Would I?
Whatever color you want.
There are
I go
bald
in
anime
blue, yellow.
characters. One Punch Man was bald.
Yeah, that's true.
Saitama Sensei. That's
Saitama's
true.
the
That's
best.
true.
Yeah.
Saitama.
Well, he
man.
could have hair, I guess is my point. If he wanted it, it's there.
Yeah.
It's true.
All right,
Lots
what
of
else you got?
adventure, I feel like there'd be lots of adventure in that world.
I know after ranting about it earlier in the episode, okay, Elden Ring has got to be one of the most beautiful games I've ever stepped foot in.
You can miss
Not-
me with that one, Nate.
like, virtually, but like the dark fantasy world that they throw you in is breathtaking. It's unbelievably breathtaking. And it makes up for all the shit that they put you through, right? Or I would have stopped. I would have fucking stopped 40 hours ago. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's a good point.
But like when I took that 10-minute elevator ride down to that underground, what's it called,
still
Siofa
haven't-
River,
I haven't been there yet. I haven't found it yet.
I had to stop.
Was that when you sent that picture of us or to us
Yeah.
with it was like a
It's like-
underground tree or something?
No, it's an
like a
underground.
gallon.
It looks like space underground.
Like stars. It
Yeah,
looked like stars. Yeah.
And I was like, what is this place? And I find this elevator, and this elevator's taking me forever to get down. I'm like, what the fuck? I better not get stomped by some dragon when I land down there. Going down the elevator, and the way that they bring you into that spot, it was unbelievable. And I got goosebumps. And when I saw what they created down there, I was in awe. I just could not believe it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And when I
looks
landed down there, all I could do was look around, not get smoked, but like look around, and just I couldn't believe it. It was masterful.
I mean, it is. It is an absolute masterclass when we talk about environmental design in that game. And the crazy thing that a lot of people don't realize is that they didn't have to create an underground area. They didn't have to do that at all. But like the underground is almost as big as the top level map when you're there. And so it's incredible that they went to the lengths they did to actually like make that like just a huge place to live in.
Oh, it was.
I wouldn't want to go there at all. But
No, fuck, no.
No, they read your inputs there.
you know what I'm gonna do before I do it.
But other than that,
yes.
like I remember being like, "Wow, holy shit, man, this is gorgeous." And then Alma would walk in. My wife Alma would walk in. She's like, "Wow." She's like, "This is beautiful." I was like, "This is insane." And the characters in that world, they're so perfectly crafted for that world. Like the bosses are so grotesque and like
Yeah,
dark.
they look
And-
gross.
Yeah, and it's just like I'm here, and I'm here to just like get everything back in order. You know what I mean? And
Did you ever feel sad for any of the bosses? Did like any of the lore that stuck out to you? Did you ever like get in a situation where you were like, I don't want to kill you, but I have to?
not yet.
Interesting.
I've always wanted to kill them because they just make me angry. But
Yeah,
like,
Right.
but I think I haven't got there yet. It's mostly just I've been cave delving and jumping through. But
Spelunking.
oh man, I can, and I have to
Spelunking.
stop. I have to stop. I'm doing a lot of virtual photography in this world. I do a lot of that kind of stuff. And the way they do it in this game, they don't give you a photo mode, right?
Okay.
So you have to like use your telescope, I think.
Yeah,
it
the
zooms
telescopes
in.
that they find on the map.
Yeah.
Sure.
And it zooms in and it erases like your character. It takes your character out of the frame so you can, frame a photo and take it. I'm fooling around with some cool things, so I'll be posting on Twitter later, but
Okay.
Nice.
Nice.
keep up with that. But
Our Twitter feed is full of fucking video game photography stuff. I'm just like, oh my god, this
yeah.
rolls off.
Games are pretty
You
nowadays.
should.
No
Y'all
way.
should make a. Do y'all have
Yeah,
an
it's
Instagram? Have y'all thought about just like having an Instagram file or a profile?
Yeah,
that you
we
could
do.
throw them- Okay, got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You should
I
probably
just-
put more of those on there.
yeah,
I've
but
got to throw some in Nathaniel's
all those
photography on
virtual
there.
photography people are on Twitter, man.
That's true. That's
yeah,
true. A
that's
lot of
true.
them really do like to do that.
If that's where they're at, that's fine.
But like I could spend an hour on that, but Elden Ring for sure, like unbelievable. another one I was saying is Pokemon. Just like the world of Pokemon.
Nice.
You know,
Yeah,
like-
actually, I have actually thought of that before. Like, man, I wish Pokemon were real. I wish I was there.
Exactly. Exactly.
I have
Remember when
actually
you
thought
fucking
about
when we slotted Pokemon Blue into the Game Boy Color, and it like just
Yeah.
it put me in there, right?
Yeah.
And I just ran through grass for hours trying to catch the Pikachu right outside
Trying to find a Pikachu.
Oh,
I don't know about all the dog fighting, but you know, you might be able
Time for some
to.
virtual dog fighting, baby. Let's get it. 10-year-olds with these extremely strong animals just beating the hell out of each other.
You're going to the grocery store. You make eye contact with the guy. Hey, you come back here. Fight me. No,
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Where are your
man,
Pokemon?
imagine.
Let's go.
You gotta wonder if like some of those NPCs in the game are just like they're just copies of the people in real life, the guys who go out there that are like wearing the fedoras and the trench coats as a fashion statement, like a unironic fashion statement, and they're like, "Duel me, you're my rival."
Trenchcoat Mafia.
Oh,
man.
yes. The rivals are very funny. I always got a kick out of
yeah.
that.
Pokemon was big. Like
Yeah, they
How
kind of
everyone just
changed
wanted
it,
to
didn't
be
they?
the
Didn't they
best.
change it from like it was used
no
to be
one
a
ever
real
was.
rival. It used
And
to be
then
a
now
real
it's like
rival.
you're
There's no
friends,
rival.
and you
now
compete.
you're friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
come
Yeah.
on.
Whack. That's whack. I'm gonna name my guy
Yeah, it is.
asshole again.
It is whack.
I'm gonna have
Yeah.
your grandpa call you asshole.
Yeah, I named my Pokemon the stupidest shit too. It was hilarious. But yeah, and then the rival you get to name him. Yeah, fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
But now it's just like, oh, you're friends and you're
Pokemon's
playing.
just crazy though,
Yeah.
because even like
Yeah.
the gods of the world are Pokemon. You can catch them. I'm like, did we give a 10-year-old the power to capture God?
God.
Capture the god.
This Pokemon controls time and space. I'm like,
now I do. Now I do.
And now
We're like-
you have an Infinity Gauntlet with Pokeballs on it
Yep.
instead of the Infinity Stones.
reality can be whatever I want.
That is funny. That's funny. Oh, but
Nice.
yeah,
Okay.
Pokemon.
The
and
world of Pokemon.
The world of Pokemon. Yeah, I would live in the world of Pokemon if I could live in there for the rest of my life. I would. It's got technology. It's got Pokeballs,
You'd
Pokemon.
be the Professor Nasty.
I'd be a gym leader, and it'd be the
Hey.
worst gym. You don't want to go to that fucking gym. There's no fucking way you want to. You would not
Nation
win.
is a Gyarados.
I would make sure in any way possible you do not win.
Yeah. Yeah. The trainers,
Maybe
you
the-
walk in, they're like, please save us. Nasty won't let us leave.
You'd be the From Software gym of Pokemon.
The last one. The last
Oh,
one. I
you
was
got another
saying-
one.
Yeah, just
Okay.
quick. Is like the Destiny,
Oh yeah.
environment,
okay.
like the whole Destiny world. Destiny
would be really
We
cool.
played a bit of Destiny 1. I played a lot more Destiny 2. But I just whenever I go,
It's sweet. It is
Yeah.
fucking sweet.
it is fucking sweet. Like the
What class
the-
would you be if you were transported there? Would you be a Titan, a Hunter?
Oh, I'm Hunter all the way. Yeah.
Hunter,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
I'm a
Hunter all
warlock.
the way.
Warlock.
Warlock would be dope.
Warlocks are
I'd be the
pretty tight.
warlock for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I just like the
Warlock.
gunslinging.
Yeah, for sure.
Fucking sweet.
Nice. Yeah.
And
that
like
would be cool.
just the way they presented it to you, like they polished it for 2. And in my opinion, they polished it for 2. Just they're like, okay, well, if there's this ancient enemy that comes in and they make a home on the moon, right? And like, what's inside the moon? Like dug down into the moon. Like when I go on those
Fallen.
missions, oh man, I can't. I
that
have
is
to
cool.
stop, and I'd be like, this is insane. And the lighting in that game is so unbelievable. Like it's so unbelievably good. The shadows, the lighting, the darkness.
Did it have ray
you-
tracing?
You feel
On 2?
no, man.
Yeah, I
and
don't
it's
think they would.
what they had. They blew it out of the water for that one.
Yeah.
Like, it's so gorgeous, and you're just
old
keep
Bungie.
going into these moon caverns, like into the underground. Oh, and I just gotta stop and I gotta look around, and you're like, they created like if a hive bug alien made a home inside the moon. Like this is it.
Yeah.
Like this
The
would
moon
be
was
it.
Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
Yep.
Would you eat it?
Is that Harry Carey, Saturday Night Live,
Yeah.
Will Ferrell?
I'll wash it down with a nice tall glass of Budweiser.
What's your favorite planet? Mine's the sun.
Mine's the sun.
Nice. Destiny
all right.
2, eh? See, I still don't really know what that looks like, so I should check that. I've only played one. and
But
I
again,
wasn't too
anywhere where you
crazy
can
about
fly
it, but-
around in a spaceship is sweet.
Yeah.
Flying
Yeah,
around
it's super
different
sweet.
planets.
Yeah, and you can
you
can
can't
run
technically
away.
die.
Yeah, you don't have to fight the cabal or any of those other crazy enemies that they throw at you. And like canonically, if you have a ghost, like, can't you revive? Like,
Yeah,
don't
you
they
can't die.
always revive?
Yeah, so you're good to go.
You're good to go. So yeah, I would for sure live in that world. Fuck yeah.
I just live
because
in the
Guardians
city that makes
are
city
so
there.
OP. Wow, they're fucking strong.
Very
Just go
strong.
in and you're like, yeah, whatever. Fucking blast all these
Yeah, whatever.
aliens away. Like, no problem. But yeah, for
All right.
sure.
Dan, you're up.
All right, I'm gonna say like my biggest ones really that I've got written. It's hard to decide where I'd live though, man. I gotta say it's gonna make sense though. I feel like one of my big ones, first and foremost, not particularly in any order, but first and foremost that I think of right now is Red Dead Redemption 2. Okay, because this game was like, I don't think I've ever. I would say that it takes the cake for me in terms of player and environment interaction in a way that I just haven't really got the same kind of living, breathing feel from other games. And I guess that's primarily because it was like, the American frontier, and you're hunting both standard legendary animals, you're collecting ingredients and all this stuff, and you feel like, the gameplay also really puts you in that world. And I'm super old fashioned. I'm an old soul. I was born in some other generation, like, you know what I mean? So I feel like I would fit right in 1899 in the American frontier. You know what I mean? So I feel like if I'm going to live in a world, it would probably be Red Dead Redemption 2. Be a ranch or something where nobody can bother me. Just leave me the fuck alone. I'll just live somewhere.
Until the Pinkertons
what I mean?
show up on your doorstep.
Stay away from me, O'Driscolls.
Those O'Driscolls. Oh fuck. Yeah. So that's gonna be number one for me because like I just loved going around and hunting legendary animals and unlocking the outfits from the legendary animals because it was like you were displaying your achievements. I loved that they allowed you to make like standard clothing and then the legendary clothing because it just made you go and do that stuff and interact with the world and explore. And I beat the game and I did all the side missions, and that's when I decided to just pick it up again. And that's when I started hunting. I did all the hunting after I beat the game. I did all the side quests.
Interesting.
And hunting took me to like corners of the map I didn't even see before.
Yep.
So I was in like total different regions. Like, where the fuck am I right now? I was like, it's like exploring a whole new game. And I was like, I discovered it in a whole new light. So I thought that was really sweet. Again, just I was walking, and that's another one of the games where I was just walk to places, and if it was nighttime, pull out my lantern, you know what I mean?
I
just
knew you
walk
would say this
around on
game.
my
I
horse.
knew you would say Red Dead Redemption.
Of course.
I knew it.
Yeah, I did, and it's like, what other game lets you like maintain those beautiful old fashioned firearms? You know what I mean? You get to look at them.
yeah,
Oh,
like
yeah.
you
I
gotta
like
oil
them.
the
You gotta clean them.
engraving.
That's
Like,
awesome.
yeah, you
Oil
can
them,
Yeah.
engrave them.
So cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the engraving
modify
was
them,
cool.
engrave them and stuff. And so I just like that kind of extra mile in terms of that immersion in that world, because like that made me feel like I was in control of those weapons, and I had some sort of relationship with them. I trusted them in combat while I was shooting the Lemoyne fucking gang because I hated those guys.
It's like, yeah, I just oiled this. It's gonna be good to go. Well,
He's gonna shoot right. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. That's Red Dead Redemption 2 for me. That's definitely one. I can't say if it's number one because it's so hard to choose, but that's one that really stands out for immersion and probably where I'd feel right at home if I did live in it. But the other ones, obviously, Oblivion and Skyrim are the big ones, because those were the first ones where you really kind of see, okay, so I'm living in a world that has its own. Like, you walk around in Elder Scrolls games and you've got those lore books everywhere, right?
Yes, yes.
Beyond what you've established already in terms of what's given to you at face value, dialogue, whatever, in quest lines and stuff like that, you've got these books that you can just go around and read if you want and learn more about the world that they've fleshed out, that they've written. Because I mean, Oblivion was what that's the fourth Elder Scrolls game. So
the fourth one.
Yeah.
I didn't play a lot of Morrowind, so I didn't really know what was going on there. But you don't really need to if you want some of that background. Just read those books. And I thought
Wasn't there a guy?
really sweet
Wasn't there a
kind
guy
of-
on YouTube who read all of the books in
Yes. Yeah.
Skyrim
Yeah.
or Oblivion, and it was like 10 hours of him like
Skyrim.
reading all of these stories.
He did like a dissertation on like the history and like the meaning behind the books. It's crazy. Also, there's like 4 writers that did everything for that game. They did the narrative, the story, and then they wrote all of those individual books. It's crazy how deep that game is.
Incredible.
Shout out to which
'Cause-
one did the lusty Argonian maid.
Yes, that was my favorite. That was my favorite spicy novel. I would read that in the darkness of the caverns of those bandit caves.
Have some skooma and read
The
that.
skooma den.
Relax with some skooma.
Oh, yes. So obviously the Elder Scrolls games are on that list. I don't know if I'd live there. It'd be pretty crazy. But Skyrim did come out with that DLC Hearthfire, which
Yeah.
really made you
So you
want
can
to
make a
feel
house,
right
right?
at home,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, you making your home.
You get
Yeah,
married.
love that.
You have a house, right? So at least it made it a bit homier, and I loved that idea of designing my own like log cabin type thing that really looked a very Norse type look.
Yeah.
So definitely the Elder Scrolls games. Ghost of Tsushima is a huge one. Just again, mostly we talked about that, but like the vistas and the environments, I just can't say enough about how beautiful that game is. Valhalla was the same thing. I'm a huge history buff, so I love my Middle Ages. Obviously, Ghost of Tsushima was 12. Nick, do you know this? 1276, 1279, something like that.
Yeah, I don't know this. I was gonna ask you this though, because I have experienced a minimal amount of Valhalla. I loved Odyssey. I liked Origins. But I've heard a lot of like negative things about Valhalla. So I was curious as to what your thoughts were.
I wouldn't listen to the naysayers. I would just play it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't, because I didn't hear much when it first came out. Nathaniel and I bought it as soon as possible, and we just
I bought
started
it.
playing it. And
I played it.
I was.
Hello.
Jonathan played a bit. That's true.
Jonathan played it too.
Sure,
Okay.
he didn't play as much. I don't think he played as much.
Well, I played like 12 hours at it. I was like, man, I just got to England now. Like, I'm like
Yeah, it's
15,
true. It's true.
12,
It's a
15
big
hours
game,
in.
and I think
Like,
that's
what the fuck?
if anything, that's what you should go in knowing is that it's a big game. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, I felt
Odyssey?
Odyssey was also a huge game.
Odyssey's
Yeah.
Crazy big.
So Valhalla's the same thing, but again, no, check it out because I had a great time. It was difficult. It was challenging. I would die a lot, and I was like, "Hey, what am I doing wrong?" And I'd have to assess that.
Okay.
And I'm not a big challenge type. Don't make me angry when I'm playing the game.
Yeah.
And Valhalla got me there. But then it was weird. I started playing Ghost of Tsushima, and I kind of got in this groove in terms of the combat and what to really do.
Yep.
I know. And I applied that to Valhalla, and actually it started working a lot better. I started unlocking new items, and so I started doing the same kind of moves I would in Ghost of Tsushima, all the parrying, and it's essential, man.
It's
because
so
the bad guys in
interesting.
Valhalla, very
they were
surprisingly difficult.
Yeah, it's so interesting that you say that because my ex, she was the one that sat there and watched me play through like 40, 50 hours of Ghost. And then I immediately loaded up Valhalla because I had just bought it. That was it, like came out around a similar time. And I loaded it up and I started playing it. And she was like, it looks exactly the same as Ghost. She was like, is this not the same game? And I was like, no, this is Assassin's Creed. It's very different. She's like, it's the same. And I was like, okay. And I just walked away from that conversation.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I could completely. It's only because it's like, obviously we are so attuned to those details, so we know what we're looking at. But that was another game where I would just walk around, like I would go through the ruins of the castles
there's a lot
that
of cool
have been there
ruins in
since.
that game.
Yeah. Like during the Roman period, because it's in the Dark Ages of England, and I'm a huge England Dark Ages, European Dark Ages buff, and I love that period. So walking around those castles that have been there for hundreds of years, it's like a love letter, right? I've got my torch out, and I'm looking for treasures and stuff, just walking around with my cloak on.
It's sick.
It's so cool. And again, I would feel right at home there too because of that period.
Okay.
I don't know how long I would survive.
You'd
but
get crushed, man.
If they gave you the skills,
It's like a raiding party comes in.
You die from the plague. No, you would be the guy who died from the plague.
Is this boil supposed to look like this?
Ah, shit, I got the plague. It's like typical.
I'll just write
typical luck.
I'll just write a song about it. I'll write a tall tale about it. I'll sing it in a square of like.
Play it on your
You know what I
loop.
mean?
You're covered in
Looped,
boils.
exactly.
You're like, bling, bling, your fingers falling off and shit.
oh man.
Because I'm curious, does Valhalla, does that have a mode that's similar to the one in Odyssey and Origins where you can just play as a random NPC and kind of check out the world and they'll give you a history tour? Do they have that as well?
I don't
Wow, what?
know.
I
That
didn't know
doesn't
that.
sound
No.
familiar.
That's
Because that was
cool.
in Origins.
don't
I
think
haven't played
so.
Odyssey yet, but I think it's an Odyssey. But I know it's in Origins, and that was one of my favorite parts. They added post
Oh,
game.
that's cool.
It's
I
like
have
a
not
world
played
tour.
Origins.
Super cool.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
if you
heard
like
good
Valhalla
things about
2,
it.
I'd highly recommend playing Origins. I know Nick was kind of
Yeah.
like iffy on it, but like it's still good. Highly recommend checking it out. The story's
Yep.
fun. Egypt itself is a really cool place to run
yeah.
around. Obviously, when you go into the
Yes.
desert, you're kind of bored.
Yeah,
'Cause
I would.
the
Yeah, I was
desert-
just gonna say, it's a little
what are
more
you-
empty than being around Greece,
Yeah.
but I think that might be expected. You know,
I wonder if that was a challenge for them. Do you think that was like a challenge for them? How do we make this interesting? You know, it's kind of barren out here.
Well,
You know,
yeah,
how
and that
do-
was
I always
another
wonder
thing.
about that.
Like, I would go through the wilderness, and if it wasn't a desert, I was on an island. I just immediately get attacked by crocodiles or wolves, and just get.
That's what
and
made it
have-
interesting.
Yeah, that's super
Daniel.
interesting. Yeah.
Daniel, didn't
More
you send
crocodiles,
us-
more wolves.
Yo, didn't you send us a picture of you climbing on some guy's dick in that game, like on a giant?
Yeah, that was an
Giant-
Odyssey. It was one of those huge Greek statues.
Like sends
I was
us a
just on his
screenshot
dong.
and he's hanging off the end of this guy's tongue. I'm just like, what the fuck is this? It's like, I've
was
got
funny.
the new Assassin's
was
Creed,
very-
guys.
It's Greece, baby. It's Greece.
It's Greece. That's right. Yeah, so definitely Valhalla is one of those games, and I'd say the big ones that come to mind, at least when I made my notes, were for sure Elder Scrolls, Red Dead Redemption 2, Ghost of Tsushima, and Assassin's Creed. I mean, there's so many games, guys. So many honorable mentions that we could talk about
Yeah.
just by title. Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Assassin's Creed, Black Flag is one of my favorites.
Uncharted.
Give me that scurvy.
Uncharted. Yes, Uncharted.
4. Uncharted 4.
Uncharted 4 would be cool.
Fable 1 and 2 I really loved for the worlds
that'd be
because
pretty
I
fun.
was like, when those came out, we were playing
Yeah.
on original Xbox,
Okay.
and it was like the first time where the marketing campaign of Fable 1 was like, be anything you want, do anything you want, be good or evil, right? Those were like the big things. And that was like the first time I'd kind of heard of that. I was like, oh, you can be good or evil, and like, what, I could just kill this villager over here if I feel like it, and then I'll start growing horns on my head. That is
Yeah.
fucking sick.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll start, like, my skin will start paling and all this shit, right? Or I could be a good guy if I
Goody
wanted
two
to,
shoes.
whatever.
You get a little
but-
halo.
You get the halo,
That'd
yeah.
be real nice, yeah.
Horns, bud.
Yeah, so
Even
that was the
fucking
first.
horns.
That was the first time I really kind of experienced that, other than Black and White. Do you guys remember that game, Black and White, by the same studio,
company, yeah.
Lionhead?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I love that.
I missed that.
Where you're like a god?
Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
You're a god and you have a hand. You're just a hand.
The hand,
Okay,
yeah.
and you're in control of a village, and you build shrines where people worship you, and you get power from that worship, and then you have a giant monster to do your bidding.
Oh,
Whether
nice.
it's good or evil is up to you. And your hand turns all gangly and gross if you're evil, or it's like super glowing and bloomy if you're, if you're
Man,
good.
I
or
played a
whatever.
lot
So
of that.
same.
Yeah. that's
Same
a sick
studio,
game.
and that was the first game that introduced me to that. But this one was after Fable was after my own heart for the whole action RPG thing, right? That's
Are you
just that,
excited
and
for
it's my
the Fable 4?
I don't know what to think because I don't really know what it's
Well,
it's going to be like.
Yeah, I mean, for what Playground Games has done with the Forza Horizon series, if they're putting that much attention to detail, love, and care into the Fable franchise, and as long as they nail the humor, it's going to be fantastic.
It's true. It's true because it was very British humor, right? It was
Yeah.
very
Extremely
that- it
British.
was-
Yeah, I love it.
you know what I mean? It had that edge to it.
That
that
Chicken
dryness.
chaser.
cheeky, very cheeky edge. Yeah,
Right.
Nice.
But yeah, no, Fable 1 and 2 were fantastic. In fact, Fable 1 is one of them. I'm a huge, actually, like you, Will, I guess. I'm a huge open world nut. Like, I love my open world games. I can't, it's hard for me to get into linear area based games where it's like, okay, here's a road, go to the next section. You can't stray off that road. Almost like Dragon Age Origins type thing. I wasn't crazy about that. But Fable 1 is one of my favorite linear, like, zone-based maps, just because I didn't care. It was early on, though. Now I love my open worlds. Back then, I would play anything. But now that I think about it, I would still play Fable 1 and love it just as much
Yep.
now, because all the different areas, like Darkwood and, like, the Greatwood, you know what I mean? All those forests. It was just so fantasy. It was like a fairy tale.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was
Yeah,
just an
that's what it was,
awesome,
yeah.
awesome world. So that's a big one for me.
I love that
for
game.
sure.
All the DLC is fantastic in that game too. So I really
Yeah.
love Fable 1.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know, man. I've got other than that, they're all small honorable mentions. Like Nick, you love the Mass Effect games. I just wanted to talk quickly about how if you guys, Jonathan and Nathaniel, if you guys end up playing these, the idea of there in Mass Effect 1 specifically, of there being like 34, I read this, I looked it up, 34 total systems that you can just explore with the Mako. And I don't know how many planets in those systems that you can just land on and go and explore and drive around in your Land Rover. And they each have different like anomalies that you can explore, and like maybe it's like space pirates, like, and you've got to fight them, and they're trying to like steal shit on this like a crashed spaceship on this random fucking planet somewhere. Yeah, you know, that is so sweet, and they unfortunately reduced that down to like probing.
I think it was a good idea. I think it was a good idea, but
it was so vast.
Yeah, exactly. There's only so much that, and it's also the thing is like, and that's another thing that scares me about Starfield. When they're sitting there and they're like, "There's 1,000 planets to explore." It's like, okay, but like, how much of that is going to be randomly generated, and how much of it is going to be actually good content or focused content? That's my thing. It's like, if you give me a randomized experience, that's cool. But if it's the 8th one I've done, it becomes suddenly less cool.
So you're a little worried about how they're gonna
fill that
execute
world.
that.
I think that they're gonna nail the golden path in Starfield. I think they're gonna nail it, but like I think that they're gonna have to really prove whether or not like they have been able to work through some of the issues that they faced in like Skyrim of making things a little bit janky, but also at the same time, I mean, they're still using the same system. That was the one thing that Will and I were down on, was the fact that they're using the fucking creation engine still, and it's like, okay, we're going right back to Xbox 360. That's fine. So it's just, you know, stuff we have to like muscle through because it is a Bethesda game, but I'm going to be there for the story at the very least.
Yeah. Oh yeah, me too. I'm looking for. I have high hopes. I have high hopes. I think. I just think I get a feeling about it. I don't know. But yeah. So that'll be another one we'll find out. But that was one that something that came to mind and reminded me of No Man's Sky as well. It's another concept I love the idea of. Despite any shortcomings that a lot of people kind of. You know, what is there to do in this game? Which is kind of true.
Yeah, that's why I stopped playing.
Because you fly around and
I'm just grinding
you
and
settle
mining.
these planets you find.
I did this
honestly, one of the coolest things was, you know, you've got this possibility of endless randomized planets. Like I don't think there's any cap on how many there are, or what if there is. It's more than we'll ever be able to explore, right? So they all have their own ecosystems and climates and wildlife that you can observe and like learn about and colonize and settle by harvesting those resources. And they're also unique to each planet. Yeah. And there's something really profound about like exploring or touching down on like a previously unexplored planet by anyone else playing that game, because there are just so many planets that you can just easily find one that nobody's touched yet. Yeah. And you land on it and it's like discovered by Gandalf the Wise. It's really sweet because they play this really like epic sweeping music when you first like your starship hits the soil. It's very cool. So those are the things that I thought of for this topic.
Cool.
Nice.
Cool. Nice, boys.
Well, speaking of engines, you mentioned the creation engine for worlds and world building with Unreal Engine 5. We've touched on this previous episodes. Like we're going to see more. I think that's why we saw the influx of like there's so many horror games coming out, right? These the lighting and the what they're able to do in these worlds now. Like you saw, did you guys see that Japanese subway demo that someone made? And they made it like a vertical.
Ooh, I saw clips of that on Twitter.
I've seen it.
They made it like a
it looked like
vertical
photographs.
resolution.
Yeah,
it was like vertical resolution. It looked like someone was filming it with a cell phone, but it was a replica of a Japanese subway made in Unreal Engine 5, and it was just so real. And
the guy was like walking up and down flights of stairs.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that one.
Like, I just feel like with this, there's going to be so much more that they can do, and we're going to see some crazy shit. I think with these, like with even games that are not Unreal Engine 5, just with ray tracing and stuff that they can do now with the lighting is wild, and we're going to see a lot of cool stuff.
The environments are going to be top shelf, I think, going forward. But as soon as they start unlocking, you know, the potential of all this, and they're right on the cusp of it. So it's going to be sweet. We're blown away now. Yeah. Imagine you know what I mean?
Well, once they start developing games for actual current gen and not like both.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. End stage. Series X, PS5
it's
games
painful
are going to
holding it
be
back.
crazy good. I don't know what we should expect from it. I mean, maybe I don't know. Elder Scrolls 6 is like a end of the generation PS5 Series X.
Still gonna be on
game,
creation.
but yeah. True.
True. They already said it's still use creation. It's gonna be painful.
Hate it.
But that's cool though. I
just
love
works.
hearing that. It just works. God, the monster.
Oh my
But
god.
I'm excited though. I'm excited about like Unreal and the better graphics that we're gonna continue to get throughout this gen. Mainly because that's one of the first issues I heard people talking about for like PS5, Series X. They're like, oh look, graphics aren't gonna get any better. Look at this. We already have like such a small jump in graphics. But then when you see something from like the first part of the Xbox One, the first start of PS4 to games like The Last of Us Part 2 on the PS4 or kind of ending games on the Xbox Series 1. So it's like we still got some nice progress to go between now and 7 years, 8 years down the line. So hopefully it's just going to look prettier and prettier.
Right on.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Perfect.
Definitely.
Awesome. You guys got anything else?
Well, there was one question, that I wanted to ask. In your what was it? In your Shake Up episode, there was no Stranger Things. You guys no fan of Stranger Things or what?
Oh yeah, Stranger Things 4. I fell off of Stranger Things, man. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I loved season 1, and then seasons 2 and 3. You start seeing a decline in season 2 in terms of the production value that they're putting in. Still great acting, still great writing. I still had fun. I mean, they're telling the same story, right? They're just stretching out a little bit. Yeah. And then like season 3, I was just like, okay, this again. We're having this.
3
and it
is
seemed
a
like
tough season.
Yeah,
for
I was
that.
just like,
I agree.
It just wasn't very well thought out. But I know that season 4 was a return to form. I started
fuck.
season
That's what I was
4.
hearing.
And I know that like the first episodes I watched were incredibly intense. The one where Eddie's like, "Wake up! I don't like this." Yeah. I love the sound clip that they don't like it.
Fantastic.
But I really I gotta go back and finish it. But there's so many games
good.
playing, so many movies to watch. It's just
I know.
yeah.
Also true. Also true.
Very similar. Same deal. Like I liked the first season. Second season, I muscled through and then I fell off, so I didn't do 3, didn't do 4. But I've been seeing way too much good stuff about 4, so I'm thinking about going to do 3 and 4. I don't know if y'all want to tell me to skip 3. Maybe
I always
throw me a
suggest
lifeline?
if you don't want to go through 3, watch one of those summaries on YouTube. You'll be fine. I don't think you're gonna miss a whole lot. 2, I still love. I love season 1, 2, and 4. Those are my
You
favorite.
missed something with 3 because like Billy and everything and Max.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
You
they'll
will miss
tell
some.
you in the summary.
summary.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
you just won't.
I just want to get to Vecna. That's all I want. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Hell
such a
yes,
good
you
season.
do.
As long as
It's
the
such a
Duffer
good
Brothers
season.
don't retcon everything just to suit whatever new seasons they're coming out with. Did y'all? I think
Yeah,
I
I
heard y'all
don't know.
talking about that before, right? About them going back and doing post production editing to like clear up
Oh,
some
no, I read about that.
inconsistencies in earlier seasons.
I read
Yeah.
that.
I don't know. That rings a bell. Maybe
I
we had
don't-
touched
yeah,
on
I've
that, but it
I've
might have been a
never heard that.
specific thing.
Okay. Yeah.
don't
But
know.
yeah, I read it somewhere and I thought maybe I'm just conflating it in my mind. But yeah. So yeah, Stranger
Cool.
Things.
Well, I think that wraps up our topic, guys. I mean, this makes for our longest episode of all time.
Yeah, we did it again.
We did it again.
Let's go.
Perfect. Well, we just had so
Another
much
one
to
on the
talk
list.
about.
Yeah,
Just
there's
so
lots
much
to
to
talk
talk about and share, and it's
Yeah.
When there's
very
5
cool.
people, bound to happen for
Yeah.
sure. Just
Thanks.
bouncing back and forth.
So much, guys, for coming on. Give yourselves a plug. Where can people find you? Let them know.
Yeah,
Twitter.
absolutely. Yeah, they can find us on Twitter. They can find us on Instagram. Thank you guys again so much for having us. We are the Friday Night Gamecast, Will and I. You can find us at twitter.com/Friday Night Gamers, and that's NITEGAMRZ. If you're seeing that, of course, we'll send you all the link to put in the show notes and all that fun stuff. But you can also find us over on Instagram, and we're just the Friday Night Gamecast over on Instagram. So that's fun. Will is killing it over there and throwing up awesome
stuff.
memes. So if you want to find great memes where he roasts the fuck out of me, there's
my favorite
definitely a
pastime.
place for you to go to, and that's really fun.
Cool. Well, is that a wrap? Are we wrapping?
Let's wrap.
I think
Welcome to,
I think that's a wrap.
all right.
That's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Alrighty, that's it for this week's episode. We want to thank everyone for taking the time to listen and watch. Thanks to the Friday Night Gamecast, Will and Nick, for hanging out with us today. It was a long one, but we had a blast. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Please be sure to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel and give us a rating and review on your podcast platform of choice. It helps us get out there to more listeners who may enjoy the show. Remember, you can always leave us a DM on Facebook and Instagram, or tweet us if you want to leave a comment or ask any questions. Thanks again, everyone, and we hope you have a wonderful day.
Good job.
Nice.
Hey, one and done.
One
One
take
take.
wonder
One
right
and
here.
take.
Nasty
I
Nate.
would drop this mic if it wasn't attached to this arm.